Pam. Dallas won the toss, deferred to the second half, and so the Giants will return, and chances are you're going to see a return. Huge jump from last season to week 1. 76% of the kicks were returned. That's the highest rate in 15 years. Off we go, the home opener for the Cowboys, and it's Gunnar Olszewski. And he's got room with a flag down as he breaks this into Dallas territory all the way back inside the 35, but a flag way back in their own end. 65-yard return for Olszewski, but let's see what the flag's for. The offense lining up back around where the flag is.
10-yard penalty from spot of the foul. First down.
And so a penalty is going to wipe away this 65-yard return. Giants, instead of the great field position, will start with the ball back inside their own 20. Here's Russell Wilson. And Wilson 5-1 against the Cowboys in his career, maybe sparking some magic facing these Cowboys again last week. 17 out of 37. All that really sparked was more talk about the rookie Jackson Dart. How soon are we going to see him? So Russell Wilson, 36 years old, his 14th year in the NFL. From the 20, they start with a run. It's Devin Singletary for 3.
Yeah, so it's interesting. Obviously, a lot of the conversation in and around this New York Giants team is the quarterback position, which is understandable. But what you have to understand is they brought Russell Wilson into what is clearly a transition period from one former first-round pick, who's now the starting quarterback in Indianapolis, and Daniel Jones, to Jackson Dart, who they believe is the future of this franchise, just a matter of when.
First throw for Wilson. Malik Neighbors stopped right away by Kaiir Elam. He's short. Third down, less than 1 coming up here as Neighbors, the record-setting second-year player, has his first grab.
You know, and then the next question to all that is, okay, but why Russell Wilson? Why bring him in? Why not go to the young quarterback? And everyone you speak to in the building for his entire career, but in New York, it's no different. His leadership qualities, all the intangibles, they want that to wear off on this young group. Malik Neighbors, Jackson Dart, they believe that that only doesn't serve them now, but it also serves them in the long term down the road.
They bring big Cam Scadaboo in on this 3rd and short, and Scadaboo, who last time played in this stadium, ran for 200 yards and 3 touchdowns in a Big 12 championship win for Arizona State, has the first down. And part of the conversation about Russell Wilson has to also be about this offensive line that didn't give him much of a chance last week. He was pressured on more than half of his dropbacks. He got hit 8 times. He was sacked twice and couldn't have a chance really to use a guy like Malik Neighbors, who's so talented.
Yeah, it's even more pressing today against the Dallas Cowboys defensive line that chased Jalen Hurts all around the field in week 1. They got a ton of pressure. They had a hard time getting Hurts on the ground.
Play action on first down. He's got time. Checks it down. Tyrone Tracy, who was a receiver for most of his college career at Iowa and Purdue. He's got 9 yards. It'll be 2nd and 1 against this Dallas defense. They gave up 21 points in the first half. Couldn't tackle Jalen Hurts. Second half, they figured it out. Gave up just 3.
Yeah, I thought they played really well. It was the scramble drill of Jalen Hurts, which, listen, we've seen him do that to a lot of really good defenses over the year. Their inability to keep him contained in the pocket as a runner was their biggest issue. Over 50% of the snaps, guys that weren't on this team. So again, a little bit of a transition year, new coordinator, new faces, and of course, no Micah Parsons.
Tyrone Tracy, he's got a first down, spins his way into the clear, and Tracy with the longest run of this young season for the Giants. But there is a flag at the 43-yard line.
Holding. Offense number 18. 10-yard penalty. Repeat, second down.
Yeah, so Tracy makes a play there, but Darius Slayton called for the penalty on what would have been a 24-yard run.
Yeah, and something this Giants offense has really struggled has been generating explosive plays. You'll see here on the left side of the screen. Oh, man. You know, that's 2 huge holding calls, of course, on the opening kickoff of the game. And now, after what's been very few and far between explosive runs, chunk plays in general, run or pass, has really eluded this Giants offense, not just last week in week 1, but really the last couple years.
Brian Daboll, known as an offensive mind, but the last 2 seasons 30th in the NFL, then 31st, and more the same week 1 with just 2 field goals. Tried again on the ground with Tracy, lowers the shoulder, and and gets close to a first down. He had the long kickoff return to start the game from Oshesky with a hold down here in the bottom of the screen.
Yeah, so you see there that Bozeman just kind of gets thrown on the ground, and then he pulls the Cowboys cover guy down on top of him, and then there's Slayton out in space. And you know, those blocks out in space, you're never quite sure where the running back is going to appear, and you have to do a good job. When you feel that defender disconnect from you, you just got to let go.
Did give Tracy enough for a first down there from the 41. Tracy again. Nothing doing. Blown up by Reddy Stewart. And he better be ready. Getting thrusted into the lineup today. The trickle down of Deron Bland being out. And they said this is why they got Stewart, who was with Matt Eberflus in Chicago last year, being able to plug and play in an injury situation.
Yeah, of course, because not only do you have Deron Bland missing some time, you heard Pam cover that at the top of the broadcast, but also Diggs. He's just slowly getting his pitch count. He's on a little bit of a limited snaps. I anticipate him playing more today as they continue to ramp him up, returning from the injury just a season ago.
Empty set, 2nd and 10. Wilson scans, lets it go. It is Theo Johnson able to hang on for a gain of 6. Johnson had 2 drops last week. Russell Wilson told us he thought he was extra motivated to come out and have a good game today. Catches the first ball thrown his way, 3rd and short.
Yeah, I think this is a positive for this Giants offense twofold. First off, really good catch by Thompson. That's a really good out-of-body hands catch. And then secondly, last week I thought Russell Wilson needed to just trust his progression a little bit more. We saw it there. If his first read's not there, just click through 2nd, 3rd progression, and that's how he was able to get back to Johnson.
9th play of this opening drive for the Giants. 3rd down, 3 or 4. Cowboys showed blitz, backed off. Wilson steps up and delivers a first down. Back to Theo Johnson. 2 drops last week, already 2 catches today. This one for 14 and a first down.
Yeah, and it starts up front. Really nice job by this offensive line. They come under a lot of fire, but on their first test, they hold up, and then Russell Wilson puts an absolute bullet right on his target there. That's a great sign. You know, you have some struggles. I've been there, Joe. You're thinking all you want is that first pass to just be secured and come down with it. He's got to feel good about this opening drive, being able to put last week behind him.
He had 1 drop his entire rookie season before those 2 drops last week. Wilson hit from behind, tries to get it away. Nobody in the area. And they're going to say it looks like that he was down. Bill Vinovich saying he was down before that ball came out. It was James Houston coming off of the backside right
really
there.
On the field as the quarterback was in the grass. 2nd down.
I think the Giants are lucky they ruled him in the grass, because it's not reviewable, so that's important context. But I think if they don't rule him in the grass, it's probably going to be intentional grounding. It didn't look like there was any Giants player in the area. I like this early play action. Some struggles at left tackle. James Hudson filling in for Andrew Thomas. Again, another starting Giants player who's out. Let's see now, it's going to be challenged by Dable, which is interesting. They're going to rule that he was not down. So now we got to take a look. Was there a Giants receiver in the area for it not to be grounding? And of course, the ball has to cross the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, James Houston beating James Hudson right there.
On the field was the quarterback was in the grass. It's similar to forward progress. It is not a challengeable play.
Yeah. Okay.
2nd down.
Yep.
You were on it.
Yep.
James Houston there, who got the nickname The Problem, playing for Prime at Jackson State a few years back. Got off to a great start in his career in Detroit, but then injuries the last few years have stunted him. One of many guys on this Dallas defense they're hoping can get new life with a change of scenery.
There's a lot of, there's some familiar faces from a couple years ago. They've undergone some injuries last season. Sam Williams being another one on the edge. No one's going to replace Micah Parsons, but they believe in the depth of the group that collectively they can try to replace some of that production.
Scattaboo, draw play, big hole. Another flag, though, as Scattaboo lowers the shoulder to the 32. This is the 3rd long play already the Giants are going to have wiped away with a flag.
They just can't get out of their own way.
Personal foul. Offense number 55, blow to the head. 15-yard penalty. Repeat second down.
And again, that's Andrew Thomas's replacement, James Hudson.
Let's take a look here. Bottom of the screen, the left tackle.
Whoa!
Just, you can't do that, right? I mean, you're on the backside of the play. I understand you want to be physical, you want to set the tone, but you just can't hit him in the head. That's a huge point of emphasis. They actually sent out a tape to the league, to the broadcast crew, saying they are going to really hone in. We saw the one for Dallas last week that didn't get called in their opener, but yeah, that's just clear as day. You just can't punch the guy in the side of the head.
Not too many good calls here. 2nd and 30 for the Giants. Some promising parts to this drive, but getting ruined by the penalties. Wilson underneath, low throw. Wan'Dale Robinson has the catch. They get 10 back. Still though 3rd and 20. Wilson perfect so far. 5 out of his first 5 after his 17 for 37 last week. Cowboys making some changes. Wilson wants the ball snapped. He gets it off. A timeout and a flag. Let's see what came first.
Prior to the snap. First charge timeout. Dallas.
All right, so they are able to get the timeout in there before too many men on the field.
Yeah, that's what the flag was. So the official on the Dallas sideline.
Catch here for Wan'Dale Robinson after he led the team in catches last week. Has his first one today. 3rd down and 20. It is technically right on the edge of Graham Gano's field goal range, and he did make from this distance during warmups today, 64. He'd love to get a little more, though.
Yeah, so I think that's the call coming in from Brian Daboll to Russell Wilson. Some aspect of the concept will be downfield to, if it pops, take it, try to extend the drive. If not, there's a check down, there's an underneath. Try to get this more into makeable field goal range, try to get points here on this opening drive.
Russell Wilson, 5 for his first 5 today. And a false start. The left tackle, James Hudson, just keeps on killing him.
Offense to the 55. 5-yard penalty. Still 3rd down.
That's 4 penalties already. They've lost 105 yards when you factor in what they would have had on the kick return already off penalties.
Yeah, when you come into a game on the road, you're probably the underdog, trying to find something to get yourself going offensively. For as many good things, a couple explosives, a couple positives, run and pass, obviously the penalties, it's just so hard to overcome them against a team like Dallas.
3rd down and a quarter of the field. Wilson lofts one down the middle. Robinson with a perfect strike fights his way down to the 2. And now a flag flies at the end of the play. It was Hudson and Williams pushing at the end of the play after a 51-yard hookup from Wilson to Robinson. And the Giants got to be saying there's no way this is another penalty on James Hudson. It's either Hudson or Williams.
After the play, personal foul, offense number 55.
No way.
15-yard penalty from the end of the run. 1st down.
How can James Hudson stay in this game at this point?
He's not. They just took him out. They just put in Marcus Bowe.
The first down counts.
He's had enough. So let's be clear here. All right, so the result of the play stands. It is a 1st down. They will mark the 15 yards on the end of the play. So here, let's take a look here at the end. Yeah, so they're going to say he just pushes his head into the turf there at the end, and Brian Daboll on the sideline is losing his mind. All right, so he pulled him off, talked to him, and then sent him back on, because I saw him point right at number 71, Bowe, and throw him in the game right in front of us, and I guess somebody overruled the head coach because he's still out there.
So instead of 1st and goal at the 2, they've got a 1st and 10 at the 17. 51-yard completion. Biggest play of the year for the Giants. Trying to overcome the pile of penalties to get in the end zone on the first drive. It's Wilson, who's top 5 all-time rushing yards for quarterbacks, settling for 2 there. And Russell said after last week, look, my confidence never blinks. This is a guy who's been doubted and been the underdog for his entire career, and all the questions swirling, when are we going to see Jackson Dart? It wasn't pretty last week. Wilson steadfast, though. I'm good. We're going to go out there and find a way to get it done in Dallas. Oh my goodness.
Oh my God.
Greg. Like,
I'm literally standing here watching Brian Daboll.
Offense number 55.
He's standing next to Bo.
5-yard penalty. Go second down.
I don't care how much a drop-off there is to the next guy. You have to make a change.
Yeah, you just got to give him a chance. If nothing, I'm not saying it has to be for the whole game. I just think you need to just let him come and just catch his breath. Obviously, he's emotional. He's competing. He's fighting. He just needs a minute to take a deep breath, relax, give him a Gatorade bottle, and just collect himself.
He's already second tackle. They're talking about putting the third guy in there. It'd be a rookie, Marcus Bowe. Still haven't made that move, though. Wilson zips it. Incomplete. He was looking for Johnson, defended by Elam. 3rd and 13. Well, here we go. You got the Giants down inside the red zone, which they did at a decent rate last week. They just couldn't finish off drives. Twice they had the ball at the 3-yard line and came away with 6 points.
Yeah, and over the last couple years and last week, now we've seen an improvement so far as their inability to generate explosive plays. Traditionally, it just puts so much pressure inside the red zone that when you get there, you have to come away with touchdowns.
Perfect on 3rd down so far today. Wilson scrambles, heaves, back corner of the end zone and over Neighbors' head. So they will have to settle for a field goal attempt on a drive that feels like it was never going to end. 15 plays, penalty after penalty that they overcome, but ultimately it's that penalty that takes it instead of 1st and goal at the 2, makes it 1st and 10 outside the 15, leading to this field goal attempt.
The penalties override everything. But when you look at it, the opening drive of the game, the explosive nature, the run game, the deep ball passing game, like that's what they want to be coming in.
Gano knocks it through. 15 plays, they settle for the 3 points. 15 plays all told. They settle for the field goal from Gano on a penalty-riddled drive, but where they did a lot of good things. And now kickoff Gano. Here's where you're between a rock and a hard place when you're facing the Cowboys. Of course, you don't want to kick it into the end zone and put him at the 35. You're a 1st down or 2 away from Brandon Aubrey's range, but you really don't want to give Turpin a chance. So to the corner they go. Nicely done. Jalen Tolbert instead. Tolbert to the 32. And that is where the Cowboys and Dak Prescott will begin. Prescott lost 2 games against the Giants as a rookie. Since then, he's won 13 in a row. We talked to him this week. We watched, obviously, the film of the game against the Eagles. He's in a really good place right now.
He really is. And coming off watching the film, I felt like he played really well. And then after having a chance to talk to him and talk to Schottenheimer, you could just see he's got a life to him right now. He's got a little spirit. He's got that look in his eyes. He loves this group. He loves this front, and they're hoping he gets back to that 23 version of Dak Prescott.
High snap on the first play that he corrals and feeds to Javonte Williams. Good impression, good first impression for the Cowboys last week with 2 touchdowns. They gain a 7 right there. They think, Greg, they have an offensive line that can be one of the best in the league.
Well, they got 3 first-round picks. They continue to invest in that group up front, which I think is really smart, especially considering you got a guy like Dak behind center. And he said it's got some eerily similar vibes to early in his career in Dallas and that incredible O-line of first-round picks he played against early in his career.
21 in the first half last week, only 3 in the second half as they hand it off to Williams. He's a yard short. It'll be 3rd and 1 against this New York defense. Chance to be solid, and they better be. They better be at least solid for this team to have any chance.
Yeah, and they've done such a nice job building the defensive side of the ball, both through the draft. Then they acquire Brian Burns in a trade and sign him. And then they've really increased the back end, right? They've had 2, Paulson Adebo, Javon Holland, 2 free agent signings in the secondary. So this group has to carry the load for this Giants team.
Really tight inside there. Prescott pulls it. It's broken up and incomplete. Cordell Flott knocked it away from Jake Ferguson, and it's 4th and 1. Early decision here for Brian Schottenheimer, and it looks like at his own 30 or his own 41-yard line, he's going to go for it.
And really well defended by Holland and Flott. It's just an RPO read for Dak, and I like it. I like Brian Schottenheimer, offensive guy. Keep Dak on the field, maintain possession. I love this decision.
This is the worst 4th down team in the league last year.
Question is, we've seen fast motions early on. Do they snap it? You're going to waste your second timeout, though. If they don't snap it, let's see.
Oh, they do, but a whistle before. He was going to have a first down, I think, on the sneak, but that play was blown dead before they snapped it.
Prior to the snap, delay game.
Okay.
Offense number 4.
Wow.
5-yard penalty, go 4th down.
So the intent was to run it all the way down and then sneak it. They just didn't do it in time.
Right, so they're kind of like flipping it on its head. We see it week in and week out. The fast motions, the really overdone cadence. It feels like a no snap, no play. And then they kind of flip it on its head. They let it look down like it's going to be either a delay of game, which they don't care. They'll take the penalty. You could always use a timeout. And he just doesn't get the ball snapped quite in time.
I know that you know that I know that but wait, we're sneaking it.
The gamesmanship work just not executed well.
Anger to punt it. Olszewski had the big kick return wiped away by the penalty. Going to try it on the punt. Here comes Gunnar Olszewski to the 31. 42-yard punt with a 9-yard return. Brian drive. And so to the bench goes Hudson, who's already the second tackle. He's replaced Andrew Thomas. And his absence felt big time on that first drive. Giants with a 3-0 lead and with the ball after 3 and out defensively. And new left tackle. Same result with a penalty.
False start. Offense number 82. 5-yard penalty.
This time it's Daniel Bellinger down to Pam Oliver.
Well, Joe, very few people could calm down James Hudson after the replacement left tackle's display, that penalty field display. It was teammates and coaches went over to him, patted him on the shoulder pads. They seemed to deliver encouraging words. Hudson kept a towel over his head. Now he grabbed his helmet. I just saw Brian Dable revisit with Hudson yet again.
Malik Neighbors has the catch here. They get back to penalty yards and a couple more. Russell Wilson looked really sharp on that first drive. Now 7 out of 9.
Yeah, and biggest thing they want to see him get back. Throughout his entire career, Russell Wilson has been a very good deep ball passer. He was the second best deep ball passer in the league last year, only behind Sam Darnold. So week 1, a lot of underneath, a lot of short of the sticks. Continue to dial up opportunities for him to push the ball downfield.
2nd and 6. He'll look to throw again. Scattaboo out of the backfield. Lowers the shoulder against Elam. Gets pushed out of bounds. It'll be 3rd and short. Our first game break of the day to Kansas City and Carissa. The longest time like the Bears are headed for a win in Ben Johnson's head coaching debut. But the Vikings come back, and so both those teams looking for their first win. 3rd and 1 for the Giants. Scattaboo seeing an increased role very clearly here in week 2. Stays in on 3rd and short. Wilson looks to throw. One-on-one. He's got Neighbors. Drops it in the bucket, and there you go, Greg. A deep ball to their best deep threat. Neighbors gets 28 and a first down.
Yeah, they're going after Diggs, who, again, he's ahead of the curve recovery-wise, but he's still getting his legs underneath him from the injury. And the young, fresh, explosive nature of Neighbors, that's just a pre-snap. He's going to look out there, and he's going to take that one-on-one every time. And that's what he does his best.
Wilson has him again. Neighbors for 13 more. Rookie record 109 catches last season. Had 20 of those against the Cowboys in 2 games. And then last week, week 1 this year, he had 5 catches. Decent game. But the bigger story was the frustration that he showed back and forth with Brian Dable. He said, look, I know I'm in my 2nd year, but I'm going to speak up when I have to. With the production comes the responsibility to be that guy that when I feel like the energy isn't right, gets us going. We're trying to establish some of that energy with his play right here. Already 4 catches. 1st and 10. Scattaboo right up the.
When you talk to Brian Dable, he said the best part about it all, maybe the greatest impact Russell Wilson can have on this franchise going forward, is the connection and the lessons he's taught Malik Neighbors so far.
Fake to Tracy. Wilson dumps it off. Theo Johnson tripped up by Kenneth Murray. And a 3rd down coming out for New York.
Yeah, so I think this is an interesting conversation to be had. There's a lot of elements, regardless of the matchups in this game, Joe, that you're going to see a lot of teams down here inside the 15-yard line treat this as 4-down territory. The new kickoff rule is the big reason why. The touchback brings you out to the 35. The average return is, let's call it the 30. Now you factor in Kevontae Turpin and Brandon Aubrey, you're almost giving them 3 points. I don't want to kick off unless it's following a touchdown at all costs.
Wilson has Robinson, but it was broken up and incomplete. Coverage from Stewart. Hooker came flying in as well. 4th down. And they'll settle for another field goal try.
Yeah, but that play tells me they were thinking 4 down, because if he holds on to this ball, watch, this is just all inside post. He catches that and gets hit. He's probably a yard or so off the 1st down, and you keep the offense out there and you roll. So you can always tell a coach's 4th down approach, Joe, by the call on 3rd down. If it's short of the sticks, he's saying, all right, I'm going to put myself where at least I have the opportunity to go for it on 4th.
2 drives, 2 Graham Gano field goals, and a 6-0 lead for the Giants. There have been 26 plays run in this game. The Giants have run 23 of them, but can't get out of their own way. Bills team with a 6-0 lead, 2 drives, 2 field goals. He's over there trying to blow some fire into him. Giants have had the ball for 22 of the 25 plays in this game, and now Graham Gano going to kick it away again. It's a good problem to have if you have to figure out how to handle dealing with Cavante Turpin. That means you're scoring. Second kickoff of this 1st quarter.
This time they're not putting Turpin to one side. Last time they split the 2 returners and they kicked away from him. They're both standing between the hash.
Turpin sprints over there. He's got his hands on it. Most dangerous return man in the NFL. Had some daylight there, but it closed, and he took it back to the 32. Home coaching debut for Brian Schottenheimer. 2.5 decades as an assistant in the NFL. This is his first head coaching job. His last few years as the top offensive assistant for Mike McCarthy. It's just 1 game, but what are your impressions on how different, if at all, this is going to look offensively for the Cowboys?
Yeah, so specific to the play calling, maybe at first glance it doesn't seem like such a big difference because he was the offensive coordinator. But remember, McCarthy called the plays. Now Schotty's calling the plays. So there's going to be some key elements that look very different.
Drive starts with a Javonte Williams run into the arms of big, sexy Dexter Lawrence. Short game.
I think we're going to see a little bit of a more balanced attack on early downs with Dak and Mike McCarthy. The previous couple years, it became very pass heavy. Now, part was because their run game was pretty inefficient, so they really relied on Dak in that early passing game. They're going to be more balanced, more under center, more play action, more pre-snap movement. So it's a pretty significant shift from the McCarthy era.
Here's Prescott off play action. Ferguson can't get away. Stopped by one of the new additions on this defense, Javon Holland. 4 really good years in Miami. He comes over along with the Debo to complement what they have up front on the back end.
And I think that's why there's so much optimism about this Giants defense, that if the offense can continue to have some respectable drives and stay afloat, that they've got some pieces. And when you're good at all 3, you say, hey, man, I got your shoe. Burner. When you're good at all 3 levels, the investment in free agency on that back end to go along with the investment in the draft along the front is a good combo.
In this series, but through a quarter, it's all Giants. 3rd down to begin the 2nd. Prescott out of the gun with Williams. Dak back to throw. Steps up. He is sacked from behind. It's Brian Burns, already his 3rd of the season. And it's 4th down, back-to-back 3-and-outs to start the day for this New York defense.
Yeah, we've already talked a lot about this group. You'll see Burns on this far side, and it's just an effort play. He gets chipped by Ferguson. Great coverage downfield. Worth noting, last week we only saw the big 3 together, right? Abdul Carter, Thibodeau, and Burns on the field. 8 total snaps against against Washington, and here all those guys are on the field together, and it pays dividends getting off on 3rd.
6 plays, 11 yards for the Cowboys. Anger's 2nd punt. Oshesky's had a couple nice returns. Fair catch this time at the 19. 48-yard punt for Anger, like they have to. Really tough early season schedule for the Giants. Toughest schedule in the NFL on the year as they start this drive on the ground with Tyrone Tracy in a short game.
Yeah, and I think in the stats you just put up, the offensive inefficiencies are not unique to this season. And I think that's why the Giants are trying to look beyond quarterback, beyond Russell Wilson specifically and his play, and say, listen, we've got to get better. We've been trying to get better offensively for 3 years.
Tracy out of the backfield. Kenneth Murray runs him down. Gain of 3, 3rd and 6.
But if along the way, in that little stopgap between Daniel Jones and Jackson Dart's career and his kind of era starting, all of the positives, if they can just play respectable ball, there's so many other positives they feel like they're getting as a result of Russell Wilson being in the business, not just in the building, not just for Jackson Dart, but the entire roster.
Russ, by the way, in that first quarter, 153 yards. That's the most yards in the first quarter in any game in his career. No Micah Parsons out there to rush the passer on third down. He gets rid of it to Robinson, who's thrown down by Kenneth Murray. Got him in a trade in the offseason from Tennessee, and he's made an impact this first game plus. Fast, violent linebacker in his 6th season from Oklahoma.
So in this, when Robinson, he has to get his depth. He has to know where the first down sticks. He knows he's hot. He does a nice job looking, but you see how long he looks for the ball? Russell Wilson's not ready to throw, so just because that slot triggers and activates your hot route, you still have to get your depth, so it's catch, fall forward, and pick up the first down.
Jamie Gillen to punt it. Devontae Turpin the fair catch at the 25. This Cowboys offense trying to get things going. It's been a continuation of this bounce-back game. Neither has Pickens. Only 6 plays for the Dallas offense. Handoff to begin the drive. Javonte Williams got stopped by Bobby Okereke. You figure you're going to get a very motivated version of CeeDee Lamb this week. If you had told the Cowboys the game's going to come down to the ability of CeeDee Lamb to catch the ball, you would have said we win. But Lamb had those 2 drops so uncharacteristic, and he told Brian Schottenheimer all it did, bro, was wake up a monster. They got back at 4 a.m. Friday morning. By lunchtime, he was out by himself catching passes off the jugs machine. Here he is behind the defense from Prescott. Inside the 40, 33 yards, putting that extra work to use.
Well, right on cue, and I was surprised they didn't get him a touch earlier just to put last week behind him. They are so good putting layers into the coverage. George Pickens acquired him via trade, his vertical ability to get downfield. And then CeeDee Lamb, he's the chess piece. He's the move guy, and he's just so hard to find because he can align in so many different spots.
First Cowboys first down. Back to the air here. Prescott looking long. He'll check it down with good coverage. He's got Jake Ferguson, and you figure with all the attention Lamb and Pickens are going to get, could be a big year coming for Ferguson, who's got 7 here. And we look back at the long hook up to Lamb.
Yes, so take the last 2 plays, Joe, right? So you have George Pickens and his ability to be a vertical threat, one of the top vertical guys in his career early on in Pittsburgh. And then it's CeeDee Lamb. He's the intermediate. He's the second layer. And then what happens when everyone gets a ton of depth? It's check down tight end, check down running back, yards after. That's what this Schottenheimer offense wants to be.
Second and short, handed off. Javonte Williams waited for the hole to develop. Got a first down inside the 25. Another new guy right here. Williams had 4 years in Denver as a rookie. Huge season, but then he had a bad knee injury. A couple years trying to fight back from that. Fell out of favor in Denver, but he's come here and made quite the first impression on the Cowboys.
Yeah, and I think the combination between Williams and Miles Sanders, this offensive line, being able to lean a little bit more on this run game and have everything work from there, I think that's a big priority, not only for Brian Schottenheimer, but also for Dak Prescott.
25-yard line, 1st and 10. Williams again. This play is blown up, though. Interior of that defensive line saying, It was Roy Robertson-Harris in there along with Darius Muasau. Robertson-Harris, first season with the Giants, 9-year veteran. Part of a defensive line that is the clear strength of this Giants team.
And a guy we haven't really talked much about. We've talked about the edge guys. Burns had a sack. Abdul Carter, the rookie first rounder. Thibodeau a couple years ago, first rounder. But how about Dexter Lawrence? He's their best player. He is the premier interior defensive lineman in the entire league.
2nd and 10. Prescott down the sideline. George Pickens broken up by Paulson Adebo. Paulson Adebo, the big pickup this offseason for the secondary, along with Javon Holland. After 4 years in New Orleans, he shut down Terry McLaurin last week. and breaks up the first throw in his direction today.
Yeah, this free agent money, this is paying early dividends. George Pickens does a great job. Look how late he is putting his hands out. He's trying to lull the corner to sleep, but Adebo gets his right arm in there. Look at that ball wasn't picked.
3rd and 10. Empty it out for Prescott. Cowboys looking for their first 3rd down conversion today. He's in trouble and sacked. It was Kayvon Thibodeau. Kind of the forgotten man in this whole equation. He was the 5th pick just a few years back.
Yeah, this is called kind of out-coaching yourself. They actually chipped Thibodeau into this TE game, and it kind of throws off the offensive line. Williams does a nice job being physical, but he actually inadvertently helped Thibodeau get inside that stunt game and come away with their 2nd sack.
So it's a 51-yard field goal for Brandon Aubrey, who was 25 out of 28 in his career from 50 plus. It is ho-hum for him. Brandon Aubrey play as the Cowboys get their first points of the game. 6-3 midway through the 2nd quarter. Cowboys trying to put it all together. Had the great first half offensively last week and the great second half defensively, but a sluggish start to this game. And a return coming here for Tyrone Tracy. Giants to start at the 30. Take us back to that big play.
Yeah, so we talk about layers, concepts. I want to show you. So here's where CeeDee Lamb starts. Okay, and then Pickens, he's on the bottom of the screen. So take a look about halfway through this route. We're going to pause it. And here's what I mean. This is the deepest layer. That's Pickens. That's what he does best. Secondary layer, and then here's the check down. By putting those 3 elements into the layers of the coverage, and then you combine it with the personnel, the Pickens deep, the CD is kind of that jack of all trades. It's the personnel and the scheme match. It's a big reason why they went out to get George Pickens and acquire him via trade.
Cam Scadaboo starts his drive at running back. Already as much playing time as he had week 1, and he crashes forward for 4 yards. Pam Oliver asked Brian Dable, what do you like about Cam Scadaboo? And he said, everything. Well, I mean, it's like a folk hero already, this guy.
Well, I mean, you go back and you look at it. If you made a little mini cut-up of last week and all of his reps, he didn't get a ton of reps. He didn't get a ton of touches. But it felt like whether it was a blitz pickup or a simple 2-yard check down and the way he finished his run, he kind of pops off the screen. So we're not surprised to see him get more action here in week 2.
Got 5 on first down, 2nd and 5. He's got the ball again. Scadaboo for 2. He was the nation's leading rusher last year at Arizona State. A guy that started his career at the FCS level. He had 1 scholarship offer coming out of high school, and it was to Sacramento State. Dominated on some good teams there. Transferred to the Sun Devils. Broke out. Got drafted in the 4th round. And they talk about, yeah, the production's good, but the intensity, fierceness of his game, they love. 3rd down, 3. Giants 4 for their first 4 on 3rd down, 0 for their last 3. Wilson has Robinson, one of the best in the league on 3rd down. He's got a first down and a gain of 8. And they've already converted more 3rd downs in this game than they did all of last week.
Yeah, and it starts with just the rhythm and the timing. He's got protection he can work through. This time, though, it's just his first read. Robinson is his first read. They use a simple little short motion to get off coverage, and now it's just pitch and catch. That's a good design, well executed across the board.
Russell Wilson already as many passing yards as he had week 1. And the efficiency numbers just unrecognizable from last week. When he's below 50%. Rips it to Robinson again. The same look they had on the first drive down that left seam. This time for 25.
So Matt Eberflus, the new defensive coordinator for the Dallas Cowboys, he loves a variety of zone coverages. They almost play exclusively zone. That time it's Jack Sanborn, number 57. He's the Mike backer. Joe, they call that the run-through player. So as the safeties split, it's his job to run with the seam player. But when the ball gets up and down so fast, he's got no shot.
Wilson 15 out of 18. Robinson's been his favorite target. From the 29, a first down throw. Look at end zone. There's Malik Neighbors. There's a touchdown for New York. 29 yards. Wilson to Neighbors for the Giants' first touchdown of the year.
When he threw it, I thought he might have overthrown it, but when you can elevate and high point a ball, I'm not sure if you can overthrow Malik Neighbors, and that's now the second time in this first half he's just run by Trayvon Diggs.
The Giants hitting some big plays in this game, really hitting all the plays. Russell Wilson having a throwback game. We said maybe facing a Cowboys team that he's beaten 5 times in 6 tries can inspire a little bit of magic. And it's a Cowboys secondary depleted by the injury to Deron Bland. Giants going after him. 220 passing yards already for Russell Wilson. Kevontae Turpin catches this one on the move. Turpin cuts it upfield. Kevontae Turpin to the 35. Tripped up by Javon Holland. Take us back to the touchdown grab.
Yeah, so take a look at Bellinger and then look at Donovan Wilson. Okay, so this is quarters coverage. If Wilson runs a crosser, Donovan Wilson has to go play that. So that's what causes Trayvon Diggs. He thinks he has help, but the rule for that backside safety in quarters, any 3 receiver side, I'm going to push that way. And if that guy continues vertical, I've got to go help that zone. And it really turns into one-on-one on the outside with Diggs.
The high snap, there have been a few that have been off the mark as George Pickens has it on the slant. Gain of 12, his first catch of the day. Pickens over from Pittsburgh, 1,000 yards per season, his first 3 years there with the Steelers. Bit of a quiet debut in Philadelphia last week, but if this goes how they envision, this is quite a duo between 88 and 3.
Yeah, and I think the next phase of this offense is to move Pickens around the formation, not always have him play that traditional on-the-ball X receiver like he is here.
Got Lamb to the near side of the screen. Fake to Sanders. Prescott delivers for Ferguson. Open in the middle for a first down to the 33. They got 14.
Yeah, so watch what this does to Muasau, the inside backer. That little fake toss pitch does all it needs to move that hook player 53, Muasau, and then he just nicely right up inside that seam. Got to continue to get Ferguson involved. He hasn't had, it's hard to believe, he hasn't had a touchdown, Jake Ferguson, since 2023. They've got to get him rolling a little bit.
For a 26-yard gain there. Here's pressure, but he gets rid of it. Swinging out of the backfield, Turpin. Get it in his hands any way you can. Open field tackle by Tyler Nubin to keep that from becoming a huge play, but number 9 gets 9. They've looked through the years more and more ways to get Turpin involved. Special teams ace to begin his NFL career, but a bigger and bigger role. And you can see that trying to be as creative as possible last week in Philadelphia. He touched it 4 times in 4 different kinds of designs. 2nd and 1. First carry from Miles Sanders with a flag down. Roy Robertson Harris and Elijah Garcia in there to shut it down.
Offside. Defense number 51. 5-yard penalty. Results in a first down.
One of the first times we say Abdul Carter's name, though, is for an offsides penalty and a first down for Dallas.
I think we can keep an eye on Abdul Carter as they try to get their 4 big defensive linemen on the field. Dexter Lawrence and then the 3 perimeter guys, Burns, Abdul Carter, and Thibodeau. Don't be surprised to see Abdul Carter play off the ball a little bit. Doesn't have to always be an edge player. He can play inside, he can play on the edge like he is here, or he could play as an off-ball backer. Micah McFadden, their backer, he's out today due to injury.
Blitz coming, looking to beat it one-on-one. There's Pickens, defended by Flott. Cordell Flott, who won the job in camp, a bit of a surprise to win it against Deonte Banks, the old first-round pick, and stride for stride right there with Pickens.
Yeah, the old sluggo. They're trying to get him on a slant and go. He doesn't fall for it. Really nice job. Zone turn, gets his eyes up. That's clinic tape for any young corner.
Cordell Flott, a 3rd-round pick 3 years ago, and every year you think, okay, he doesn't really have a spot, but then he keeps on seeming to win a job and has had time as a starter every year.
He's matched up one-on-one press at the bottom against Pickens.
2nd and 10. Underneath, CeeDee Lamb, and it was read beautifully. Drew Phillips slams him down, and there's a flag that flies. And there's some context, some background between these two and Phillips and Lamb. Phillips re-injured Lamb last year, slamming him down away from the play.
Defense number 22. 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
CeeDee had been dealing with a shoulder injury all year, was starting to feel better, and then away from the play in November, Phillips slammed him down, and CeeDee said, I have not forgotten that. I've got something for him Sunday. It was as if Phillips was the one trying to deliver some payback.
Yeah, so now the second time we've seen a Giants player make a good play, and then the extracurricular after the play is over cost them a personal foul. They've done it now on both sides of the ball, and you just don't have. There's a fine line between being physical and taking it over the line.
Man, imagine where this game would be if they didn't have 8 penalties. Williams, right side. Hit in the backfield by Javon Holland. Brian Dable at this point has to be just beside himself. What are we doing?
CeeDee Lamb's telling him, all right, you didn't get me that time. He's going to find his opportunities. If he gets another opportunity there one-on-one in the slot, he's not going to forget that.
Giving him a lot of ammo here, a lot of motivation. Drew Phillips is second-year player, gumption.
So now they got Pickens and CeeDee Lamb on the same side of the formation.
Prescott chooses Pickens through a couple Giants' hands and incomplete. Boy, you had Flott and Holland over there with a chance, looked like, to pick that ball. Instead, incomplete in 3rd and 9.
So last week against Philly, they kept the two of them on opposite sides of the formation. He didn't think that it'd be as easy for Vic Fangio to be able to dial up zone defenses to account for both of them. Here we've now seen them used on separate sides, now here together on the same side, and nowhere to go with the ball.
Giants take a timeout. 2:24 to go in this first half.
New York, 30-second timeout.
Let's see what's coming up at half. Getting ready for the Verizon halftime. So we showed there, Greg, that Lamb and Pickens were together. He chose Pickens. Over here, nobody's on Lamb. This is before a timeout. That would be a reason to call timeout. Got the Ducks in order. Yeah, and a 3rd and 9 here. Cowboys trying to find the end zone. Prescott pressured. Prescott lofts it. End zone. Lamb incomplete. Banks the coverage. Official threw his hat with more flags flying. And now another at the end of the play. What a mess.
The only penalty I'm for sure on is I think they're going to get roughing the passer. What happened in the back corner of the end zone, I'm not exactly sure who they're going to get that on. We got a lot to sort out here. The officials are going to get together now and sort all of this out.
Boy, Bill Vinovich and his crew have earned their money today.
No question about that. Man, since the opening kickoff of the game, it's just been flags everywhere. So initially a really nice job creating pressure. And then
Robinson Harris.
That's where the flag came in.
Then there was 4 fouls on a play. 4. Defense, personal foul, roughing the passer, defense number 95. Pass interference, defense number 2. Unsportsmanlike conduct.
No way.
Offense number 88. All fouls offset. Replay 3rd down.
4 penalties on one play.
Oh my God.
What are we doing?
Yeah, I think they missed a 4th. I thought Tyler Guyton, the left tackle, I thought he tackled Brian Burns. So
it should have been 5.
Could have been a 5. I'm sorry. I lose 4 is my limit. It's as high as I can go. And for all of that, they just retry the
Yeah, right. It's as if it never happened. Here's the unsportsmanlike on CeeDee Lamb. And that has been an emphasis, like we're talking about, as he points back at Deonte Banks and gets flagged for it. And instead of a glorious 3 penalty play on the Giants, it's just a wash. And we'll do the 3rd and 9 again.
This is incredible.
Yeah, that's one more for it. Prescott out of an empty set. Cowboys have not found the end zone since their 2nd drive of the year, when it was like, man, these guys are unstoppable. Hard count. Flag flies. Free play. End zone. Turpin. Touchdown Cowboys. Well, he was allowed to take a risk there, knowing that it was a free play. Zipped it through for a Turpin touchdown.
Offside. Defense number 95. Penalty decline. Result of the play, touchdown.
So Cavante Turpin, his first touchdown of the year. All the talk about worrying about him in the return game. It's as a receiver that he beats the Giants for the first time today.
Yeah, it's just a blown assignment in the slot there. You just can't let Cavante Turpin get inside the defender. Really good ball placement there by Dak.
Cowboys, one of the worst red zone teams in football last year, able to finish off this drive.
Yeah, so take a look, right? So you got high players here on the in the middle. You got to be inside leverage. Drew Phillips, you cannot let him cross your face. You know your help is deep and wide. You got to protect the middle of the field. Great route by Cavante Turpin. Great anticipation by Dak Prescott. He sees the middle open. You win on that leverage. There's just no one in there to help you. Just a simply blown coverage there in the slot by Drew Phillips.
This is the first time in 20 years the Giants have been called for 9 penalties and a half. It was a sign of things to come when the opening kickoff has returned 65 yards, wiped away by a penalty. There's been a whole boatload of them since. That doesn't even count the 3-and-1 play that they just had to help the Cowboys find the end zone for the first time and cut it to 3. Giants lead by 3, but they have to be asking themselves, man, how much more could it be? 2:11 to go as Russell Wilson and Mike Kafka talk over their plan here for this drive. 2 timeouts with which to work as Tracy goes back with Olszewski. Tracy, see nothing but returns in this game. Tracy got cracked shy of the 25. Robert Rochelle pulled us in there, getting a good lick. 2 timeouts and the 2-minute warning from the 23-yard line. Russell Wilson unrecognizable from week 1 when he was 17 for 37. He's 16 for 19 today. It's a toss for Scatterboot. Osa Odigizua and Kenneth Murray drop him for a loss. And bring this to the 2-minute warning. Jalen Hurts to about 160 yards passing has given up 220 to Russell Wilson and the Giants passing offense.
The Giants have to be careful. They don't go too conservative. Dallas still has 2 timeouts.
Everybody up at the line here for the Cowboys. They got 9 guys along the line of scrimmage, just 2 back.
Showing 0.
Start to back off a little bit on 2nd and 10. Bringing the pressure and getting to Wilson for the first time today. Clark and Odigizua. Timeout taken by the Cowboy turn from Micah Parsons. They got Kenny Clark and a couple first-round picks. Kenny Clark capable of getting sacks too.
So now the question is, of those 8 defenders, who's coming, who's dropping? They get a hat on a hat. The offensive line does a nice job sorting it out. Knowing they're bringing that pressure, that ball just simply has to be thrown away. You can't take that sack, knowing Dallas has those remaining timeouts.
We got the Giants at 3rd and 19 now with a 1 timeout left for Cowboys. They need the 33-yard line. They'll check it down. Tyrone Tracy, a couple of defenders circling. Tracy gets hit forward, but still very shy. He got 14 yards to the 28. Reddy Stewart there with Damone Clark. And Dallas uses its last timeout with 1:46. They're going to have all kinds of time getting the ball back to Dak.
So this is exactly the predicament that they were in, which is why it's so important. We see teams lose their timeouts early in halves. They don't have them for end of half, end of game scenarios. And this is why it's so critical that head coaches hang on to them. You don't waste them on challenges. You don't waste them on substitution issues, because the Giants got the ball to start the game. So now here's an opportunity for Dak to possess the ball one more time before half, knowing that they're going to get the ball again to start the third quarter.
Well, the last time the Cowboys started a season 0-2, 15 years ago. Certainly not the way that Brian Schottenheimer wants to begin his time as the head coach. Not a pretty start to this game, but they'll get the ball back here with a chance to get some redemption before the break. Down 3, Turpin back to return the punt from Jamie Gillen. Turpin will have a shot here. Made the first man miss. Flag down as he gets 5. Chris Board the tackle.
During the return, holding, receiving team number 19. 10-yard penalty, first down.
It's Ryan Flanoy.
Tell you what, life of a gunner, man, that's the guy on offense whose job is to deface 2 defenders and just get knocked out of bounds. Then you can't stay out of bounds because there's a rule against that, so you got to immediately return. You get knocked on the ground. I'll tell you, that's a tough way to make a living in this league, man, being a gunner.
Cowboys will start it from the 20. They're out of timeouts at this point. Prescott goes underneath. CeeDee Lamb for 6. Prescott was so good in Philadelphia last week. 21 out of 34. Numbers would have been better. Numbers really don't reflect how comfortable and in command he looked. Hadn't really hit his stride yet today. Just 10 out of 14. Just now crossing 100 yards. Checks it down again. First down, Jake Ferguson. Ferguson with a team-high 4th catch.
Yeah, so you got plenty of time. Dak can throw this ball anywhere on the field. The key is for the receivers, you don't really want the extra yards. Get down on the ground.
Sideline, Tolbert, perfect timing. Flags in the backfield. Holding on Dallas. Giants are saying it's about time something goes on them. Just the 3rd Dallas penalty to the 9 for the Giants.
There's no foul for a late hit on the quarterback. Number 0 was Hale. Holding, offense, 10-yard penalty. Repeat, first down.
Burns has already got a sack today. He's getting pretty close there. Somebody got a hold of him. It's Tyler Guyton, the left tackle.
You see him here on the bottom of the screen. Guyton kind of takes him down. He gets a little foot traffic, so as Guyton's going to the ground, he pulls Burns, and that was the clarification why it was not roughing the passer.
1st and 20, and when you've got Brandon Aubrey as your kicker, you barely got to get the ball to the other side.
They're in field goal range already.
Prescott scans. He'll check it down. Javonte Williams one-on-one with a Debo. They both lowered the shoulder in a big collision at the 34. Clock stops with 49 seconds.
Yeah, important there for Williams. It seems small, but if you're going to go out of bounds with contact, you have to make sure that you're going forward or they'll wind that clock. So that's really well done, being tough on the sideline.
Flag down. Prescott steps up. Could be a free play. Knocked down by Dane Belton as he tried to find Schoonmaker. Now this is actually going to go on Dallas.
Offense, number 9. Never got set. 5-yard penalty. Repeat, second down.
Sam, we can do the penalty thing too. We see your 9. We'll raise a few more.
This has been something. I'm not sure we've called a game where in one half.
Well, again, it's been a quarter century since.
To clarify, the penalty was declined.
Okay.
So they'll take the result of that down and make it 3rd and 12.
Quarter century since the Giants have had this many penalties.
It's unbelievable.
We were both in high school. I actually was in junior high at that point. You're a little older.
I want to hear more about it.
No, there's nothing else to tell. 3rd and 12. Under a minute. Now the Giants are thinking, okay, we got 2 timeouts, could get the ball back. Seesaw in this strategy. Carter got some pressure, couldn't get there. Turpin with a grab at midfield. Carter thought he was held, didn't get the call. Instead, the Cowboys get 16 yards and the drive continues.
That's a great route there, work in the middle of the field by Kevontae Turpin.
He's got the touchdown for Dallas in this game. Carter pressure again. Ferguson off his hands. And incomplete. Okereke that close. So is Tyler Nubin. Incomplete. 19 seconds. And 2nd and 10.
Let's take a look here. That was really close. I mean, they got like 4. Oh, I think it's a. Okay, I think we're going to say there at the end the ball's on the ground, because initially Nubin's hand was under the ball in the initial contact. I don't think he maintained control. That was a heck of an effort.
I think he probably would have if Okereke didn't also try to.
He gets a pass breakup, PBU there on his own man.
Yeah. Only a few yards away from where Aubrey can realistically give it a try, by the way. 19 seconds. No timeouts. Prescott off Lamb's hands. It was a fastball, but CD coming off of last week. Can't help but think back. 3rd down.
Yeah, so they still have time, though. If they complete a short pass, they have no timeouts remaining. If they complete a short pass, it's mandatory get down. So you catch it, get it, and then get down, immediately run up and clock it. It'd be 4th down, so they're in trouble here.
They gotta go.
They don't have enough time to go Mayday, so they have out of bounds or it's over. They needed CD. That ball needs to be caught.
Out of bounds or 1st down and spike, if you have time for that.
To throw it down the field that far, it's going to be tight if they have enough time.
New York's going to use a timeout.
Second charge timeout. New York. 30-second timeout.
We're right back after this message from State Farm. 3 for 5 in his career from 60 with a long of 65. This would be more than that. It'd be about 67 from here. 3rd and 10. Let's see what the strategy is with no timeouts. A 3-man rush to the sideline. Ferguson.
Yeah, so
Clock continues as forward progress was finished. Cordell Flott was right on top of him, so the only choice now is a hit.
Everybody's so far downfield. I'm not sure they can get set in time.
They're going to get
they weren't set.
Flying, and that will end the half if it's on Dallas. It is.
Yeah.
And the half is over.
CeeDee Lamb was 40 yards down the field.
Never got set, which turns into a false start with the clock running inside 2 minutes. The half is over.
Times to Malik Neighbors, and that's the spark that they need to complement what is a very talented defense.
Cowboys will have it to begin the 2nd half. This is Turpin. Juggles, picks it up. Cowboys have seen him take one back after juggling a kick before. Good coverage for the Giants. He stopped at the 20. Down to Pam Oliver.
Well, Joe, after that penalty fest in the 1st half, I asked Coach Brian Dable, tell me about discipline. Tell me more about what this team won't do as far as those penalties go. He said, we have got to start playing with composure. Positives on offense, though. He felt like that group is doing a good job. He agreed. He said that we need to get in the red zone and score touchdowns. He revisited the subject of penalties, and he did tell me at the last minute, he said, though, we are going to be aggressive.
And this defense, which we talked about needing to be the strength, has been incomplete. First play of the 2nd half. Schoonmaker couldn't hang on. Bobby Okereke broke it up. Those guys up front making their presence felt.
Absolutely, and on paper and the investment they've placed, this is how this New York Giants defense should be playing. And then on the other side, Dak Prescott and this Cowboys offense, they showed some life there in the 2nd quarter. So again, it's layered concepts, play action pass, get the ball downfield, soften this secondary up, and then I think there'll be some more action in the run game from there.
Cowboys such a good start offensively in Philadelphia last week. Didn't score in the 2nd half, and it mirrored that 2nd half more so far today. A little bit sluggish. Prescott off his back foot into coverage. It is Drew Phillips, and Phillips, no signal yet. Now they say he caught it. It's a pick for Phillips. Prescott throws his first interception of the year, and the 2nd-year man from Kentucky with a sprawling grab.
Well, that's how you bounce back. He gave up the touchdown being out of position on that drive there in the 2nd quarter. to Kevontae Turpin, and now he's got CeeDee Lamb. He's carrying him inside, does a great job getting his head around to find the ball. And again, the pressure on deck. Again, Abdul Carter, he can line up inside, he can line up on the edge, he can line up off the ball. He's such a weapon to add along with this front. And Dak Prescott saying, man, we felt so good coming into this game. We thought we were going to roll, and this Giants defense is playing well.
A takeaway is something that was sorely missing last year. They were 28th in the NFL during training camp. They had a chest at practices, and the D coordinator, Shane Bowen, said, go be Pirates. Let's get goods for our turnover chest for their first one of the year right there. So they begin at the 40-yard line. Wilson will dump it off to Tracy. A block in front. Tyrone Tracy with a dozen on the first play of this second half. In that first half for Russell Wilson, 235 yards, the most for a Giants quarterback in the first half since Eli Manning 7 years ago.
Yeah, we had some concerns for this Dallas defense, right? You heard Pam at the top of the show say Deron Bland, arguably their best defender, he's out due to injury. There's going to be some moving pieces. Trayvon Diggs, we've seen him trying to kind of get his legs back under him. So that secondary's had a tough start to this game.
Wilson looks to throw underneath again and through Tracy's hands. Started the game talking about the conversation about when do you go to Jackson Dart. I don't know about you, but I haven't had the name Jackson Dart in my head once since about the 5th play. Russell Wilson has looked like his old self.
Yeah, I think that talk show radio in New York, barring a drastic change here in the second half, which I'm not putting out there. We're not jinxing anybody. But we're going to have to find something else to talk about next week on the airwaves, because right now, Russell Wilson, he looks great.
9-time Pro Bowler in Seattle. Super Bowl champion, looking more like that guy than he did last week. Outside Wan'Dale Robinson, over 100 yards already as Robinson rides the block of Malik Neighbors into the arms of Trayvon Diggs. He got 5. 3rd and 5 coming up. Giants converted each of their first 4 third down tries, just 1 for 5 since.
Diggs down here matched up on Malik Neighbors. It's going to be zone coverage.
Shade of safety over the top of him. Wilson goes the other way and has a first down. Wan'Dale Robinson already his 7th catch. His numbers have gone up and up every year, and where he's really made his name is in these situations on 3rd down.
Yeah, just a great job this time understanding where the first down line to gain is and just feeling the soft spot in the coverage. When you're playing against a defense like Eberflus in this Dallas side, it's so zone heavy that it's not about how fast you run. It's really not about, it's about who can stay open when they get open and just be a friendly target to the quarterback, because 90+ % of the time, it's going to be zone.
3rd down for the Cowboys defense has been a problem the first 2 games. Scatterbo left side. Sanborn was ready for him. He broke that tackle, but couldn't get away from his 201st start of his career today. Robinson lines up in the backfield. Now 4 to choose from right side. It's a draw, and Wilson runs for 7. Solomon Thomas another tackle. 3rd down and short.
Yeah, that's probably an element of his game earlier in his Seattle days. They did more. It's just a simple box check. Sanborn goes out with the motion. Now it's just 5-on-5. Super easy decision there. If you don't like the number count, you throw the swing. If it's a light box, turns into quarterback draw.
3rd and 3 for the Giants, trying to take advantage of the interception.
I wouldn't be shocked to hand it off here. In my mind, this is 4-down territory. You have an extra down in your pocket, I think.
Scatterbo's in there. He's got it, but he's hit at the line and got just 1. Solomon Thomas again. That's play after play the 9-year veteran, and his first year in Dallas is made.
Yeah, I'm not shocked at the decision. You mentioned Solomon Thomas. He's gotten off to a good start here on this possession. Super active. He's kind of turned into a journeyman defensive lineman after being such a high draft pick years ago. But I like the decision from Dable. I think it's hard to imagine you're going to keep this Dak Prescott Dallas offense at bay the entire game. And we talked earlier about how the kickoff rule affects fourth down decision-making, especially inside the 10-yard line.
In worst case scenario, you give them the ball back into their own end.
Correct.
On 4th down and 2, Wilson has Scadaboo swinging out of the backfield, throws it to him, incomplete. Coverage from Murray. Scadaboo had a chance, couldn't hang on. Guess who the pressure came from? It was Thomas again. Cowboys defense comes up with a stand.
What the play is, Neighbors runs an inside breaking route into a corner, Elam, who's just waiting for him. So you don't really get the stress. Typically on a fast to the flat play, Neighbors would run a corner and stress that outside zone player.
Miles Sanders has it on the first play of this drive. Once again for the Giants, it's a trip into the red zone empty-handed. They're 0 for 3 in red zone trips this year. The lone touchdown coming from outside of it. And they're the only team, back to your point about teams being more aggressive on 4th down as it trickled down to the touchback being at the 35. They're the only team in the NFL through 2 games that hasn't converted a 4th down in the red zone.
Yeah, and I think we're going to see teams continue to do it more and more, especially in goal-to-go situations. I know that last one wasn't, but you don't want to kick off and give your opponent the ball between the 30 and 35-yard line.
Jet sweep, Cavante Turpin. Man, he made the guy look like he was standing still. So fast. Turns the corner, gets a first down.
Yeah, I promise you, when the scout team ran this, Newbin, the safety, and he's unblocked. And on Wednesday's practice, they felt really good about the coverage, except the guy on the scout team running, it's not Cavante Turpin.
Nobody is. Turpin has got a receiving touchdown in this game, has 7 yards right there. First down to the 21. Now he's in the backfield. And they hand it to him. How many different ways can we get Turpin involved? This one shut down by Deonte Banks, former first-round pick.
You're going to continue to see them get their players moving at the snap.
Well, more of it right here. Miles Sanders. Yo-yo motion out of the backfield and right back.
Yeah, so that uncovers the protection. Now they know who's dropping and who's coming.
Here comes the blitz. Prescott sideline. Turpin again. First down Dallas and a gain of 14. Cavante Turpin on a team that has CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens.
Roughing the passer. Defense number 58. 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Turning into the most popular guy, and there's another penalty on New York. Bobby Okereke called for the personal foul.
Yeah, really nice job by Miles Sanders getting just enough of them, but you just can't go high on the quarterback. And we can debate whether or not the rule is too extreme or too much protection. It's very clear. You can't hit the quarterback late, and you can't hit the quarterback in the head or neck area. So as a defender, you just have to say, I might not agree with the rule, I don't like it, but the rules have been very clearly stated, and you have to make an adjustment.
Yeah. So to the 47. Prescott rolls, looking the other way. Miles Sanders, couple blockers in front. Brian Burns fights through one of them to rip him down. That thing looked promising, but the Giants showed the athleticism rallying.
Yeah, I think lost with all the top round picks that the Giants have had. Remember, a few years ago, we got a Giants player slow getting up here on the far sideline. Take a look at him.
It's Darius Muasau, who's already the backup. He's only in because Micah McFadden is out. They're very thin at inside linebacker. Elevated a couple guys from the practice squad to be the depth behind him. You have Chris Board and Zaire Barnes.
Let's take a look here. Oh yeah, just goes helmet to helmet with Booker. The rookie right guard. That's a big man. First round pick out of Alabama, the right guard. And it's good to see him able to walk up. To finish my point on Brian Burns, you know, Thibodeau and Abdul Carter, and of course Dexter Lawrence has been here for some years now. All first round picks, all high picks. But Brian Burns, they traded away a great deal to Carolina to acquire him. Gave him big money, new contract, and I think they've gotten their money's worth. He's been very productive in his time in New York, and it's continued into this season.
How about this? There's 4 guys in the NFL.
Yeah, this is my favorite stat maybe you've told me all week.
I'm going to tell you again. 4 guys that have had 5 straight seasons of 8+ sacks. It's Myles Garrett, it's Trey Hendrickson, Leonard Floyd, and Brian Burns on that list. They go a little smaller personnel here. Safety Dane Belton comes in. They want George Pickens. A flag flies. They're going to get Phillips. Drew Phillips had the interception on the last drive. He gets called for pass interference here.
Yeah, let's take a look here.
Defense number 22. Spot foul, automatic first down.
All right, so he gets his head back and looks, which is not, we say it probably more than it's actually a factor. The key is that the right arm's on his left arm, and the left arm is clearly grabbing George Pickens' jersey. So even though he gets his head around, he locates the ball. If you're going to grab and tug out in the open field, in today's NFL, they're going to call it every time.
First down from the 30. Handoff to Javonte Williams. Squeezed his way through. End zone ahead. Dallas takes the lead. Javonte Williams from 30 yards. His 3rd touchdown of the season already.
Well, that's the physicality, the toughness. They just rave about Williams and his time, his short time here in Dallas. And initially, it didn't look like there was a whole lot of running room, but the ability to run through contact, make the safety miss, and then that top-end speed that he's still trying to get back from prior to his injury, but that's a big-time run.
The 11th penalty of the day on the Giants sets the Cowboys up. It's a 90-yard touchdown drive for the Cowboys, aided by a couple more penalties on the Giants. You had the roughing the passer on Okereke, and then the pass interference on Drew Phillips, and 117 penalty yards on the day. It's amazing that they didn't fall behind until just right now, given all that. Tracy. Tyrone Tracy. Crunched at the 32. Back to the touchdown. That puts Dallas ahead for the first time.
Yeah, so he shows you that really cool graphic about the motions. So this it's just 3 wide receivers, 11 personnel. But then Jalen Tolbert coming on that fast motion. This is just traditional single back power, they call it. So you pull 1 guard, the tight end blocks the end. But with Jalen Tolbert, they get an extra blocker, which you don't typically get when you're in 11 personnel, because you only have 1 tight end and 1 back on the field. So a great play design, use of motion, use of personnel leads to a touchdown.
An attack in the sore spot now for the Giants defense, down to their 3rd man, inside linebacker. Blown coverage right here, and Darius Slayton takes advantage. His first catch of the year goes for 51 yards as he got behind Kaiir Elam.
Yeah, not sure if it was a busted coverage or a double move. It's just a cloud corner. He's supposed to get hands on Slayton, and he just lets him run right by him. Nice job there by Russell Wilson, again, recognizing the blown coverage and getting that ball up and down. Now the question becomes, we've mentioned their struggles in the red zone. Can they finally finish inside the 15?
Wilson over 300 yards for the day. It's Scattaboo met at the line of scrimmage, but he kept on going and got 5. You got to figure this guy can be a weapon for you down here as you try to solve your red zone issues. Battering ram and Scattaboo. Gets him off to a good start right there.
Yeah, Donovan Wilson is unblocked in the hole.
Ooh. And
Scattaboo just runs him right over. And Donovan Wilson, he's one of the most physical, run-defending type strong safeties in the league. And the young rookie just takes him on in the hole.
He's wishing he wasn't unblocked. I'd rather have an offensive lineman hit me.
Yeah, right.
2nd and 5. Wilson looks to throw for it. Pushed off his spot. Lets it go into the end zone and incomplete out ahead of Slayton. 3rd and 5. This is another one of those situations where you got 2 plays to get 5 yards.
Yeah, but they got to be smart here. I think the last time they left themselves like 4th and 3. You'd love if you do throw this ball short of the sticks, or I guess they could hand it off, but you want it to be 4th and 1, 4th and 1.5 yards, because it keeps the run on the table on 4th down. So this is a critical play call. If this is all in the end zone, that tells me everything I need to know that Daboll is not considering it 4-down territory. The play call will tell us.
Giants 340 yards of offense today, but only 1 touchdown because they have run into a wall at this part of the field. It's a pass. Wilson in trouble. Heaves it out of bounds. 4th down. Pressure coming from Solomon Thomas, who has been the star of this defensive line today.
All right, so Kenny Clark, we haven't talked a lot about, of course, the blockbuster trade. He comes with the departure of Micah Parsons. In the last 2 plays, Kenny Clark inside is disrupting. Now, they're going to keep their offense on the field.
Turns out they didn't need anything. Looks like I got a lot of dudes out there. 4th down and 5.
Question is, do they snap it? Nope. They're not snapping this.
Cowboys hang on, delay of game, and it'll be a field goal attempt.
5-yard penalty, still 4th down.
The Giants now 0 for 4 in the red zone.
Yeah, so take a look here. 2 plays in a row. Kenny Clark just busted protection. Greg Van Roten, the right guard, he's expecting the center, John Michael Schmitz, to work to the right and pick that game up so Van Roten can kick to the edge and help the tackle. But on both 2nd and 3rd down, it was Clark's pressure on Russell Wilson that sped him up.
Well, the only Giant who has anything good to say about the lack of red zone success for the offense would be the guy that gets to go out there and rack up. And if not for their red zone issues, they'd be ahead in this one. But 0 for 4 and down 1. Kavontae Turpin down the sideline. Kavontae Turpin with a flag down goes down to the 28. Good special teams coverage by the Giants today on Turpin.
They're going to get a hold here on the return.
Return. Holding. Receiving team number 14. 10-yard penalty from the end of the run. 1st down.
They get Marquise Bell there. The Cowboys have not been immune. That's their 5th penalty of the day. We got 17 of them total.
Yeah, they could have called it on either one. Onye Thomas and Marquise Bell. They were double teaming the Giants coverage guy, and they just tackled him and held him down on the ground.
Brian Schottenheimer's offense coming off its most impressive drive of the day, going 90 yards to take the lead for the first time. Play action on 1st down. In the flats, it's Ferguson. Phillips and Okereke combine to tackle him, and we go down to Pam.
Yeah, Joe, an injury matter to update. Linebacker Darius Muasau. He went immediately into the locker room after coming off the field. Muasau is being evaluated for concussion.
And Muasau is in for McFadden, who's lost for quite a while with a foot injury, so Chris Board has come in to replace him. We have not seen Abdul Carter move back there and play inside off-ball linebacker like he did at Penn State. There was some talk this week that he may play in that role. Haven't seen it, though. Javonte Williams breaks the 1st tackle. Breaks another. 1st down for Williams.
They brought up Abdul Carter, and they had mentioned that they like the idea of mixing where he goes. I think the struggle for any young player, regardless of how talented they are, or regardless of how much time they've done it in college, there is a little bit of like overload, right? Paralysis by analysis, where we're asking this talented guy to do too much that then we don't really get him good at one particular thing. So they continue to take these injuries, though they might not have much of a choice but to move him back a level.
From the 30, Prescott trying to set up a screen. Back to Williams, and Burns blows him up. Brian Burns nails him for a loss of 2. Wow.
All right, we're talking, when you're having 2nd-level problems and injuries, and we talked about Abdul Carter, well, this time it's Brian Burns who's playing off-the-ball linebacker. He's really a pass rusher, somebody that's made his name getting after the quarterback, but now he's playing that weak side linebacker, and we've now seen him sniff out and blow up 2 screens here in the 3rd quarter.
Teammate of yours in Carolina when he broke in.
Great, talented, great kid. The sky is the limit. I think he's going to continue to excel here in the NFL.
2nd and 11. Pressure coming out of the secondary. They throw right into it to Miles Sanders. He got 3. Dane Belton combines with Cordell Flott. This New York defense
I think what I've liked the most today is that they're not just relying on winning the one-on-ones, they're putting them in very good situations, but they can't stop jumping off sides.
On third down, a strike to Ferguson, a first down. 17 yards, Jake Ferguson to the 49.
It's like the third time.
Offside. Defense number 51. Penalty decline. Result of the play, first down.
And remember, I know everyone says, oh, it doesn't matter because
changes it as a quarterback.
It changes the quarterback. And watch everybody who jumps. Watch, does anyone rush the passer? There's no one rushing the passer. Everyone just stands up because they think the play is over. The quarterback gets aggressive. He attacks downfield. They had a touchdown in the first half on a free play, and now a big third down pickup.
We could call it a free play, could call it an easy play. That's what it becomes there. They advance the ball to midfield. First down pass play. Prescott underneath. Brevin spanned forward. First catch for the tight end. He got just 3. Tackled by Chris Board, the guy that's replaced Muasau.
One adjustment Dallas has made, though, here, especially on this possession, is almost on every time Dak drops back, the ends are being chipped, whether it's wide receivers, tight ends, running backs. They are trying to punish these pass rushers and try to keep as many one-on-one pass rushes off their tackles as possible.
Hey, we do see Abdul Carter now moving to off-ball linebacker for the first time today. 51 for the Giants, and he's coming on a blitz. They run right by him. Thibodeau stops Miles Sanders. 3rd and 4, 3rd and 5.
Right on cue. Here he is. His time and his pressure. Really well picked up there by the front of Dallas. Cooper Beebe, the center. It's a big man running downhill fast in the middle of the defense.
6'3", 250, and can move. Minute 20 to go in this third quarter. Cowboys just recently taking the lead for the first time. Prescott on 3rd and 5. 4-man rush. He's given time. He steps up. Back shoulder. George Pickens. Flag flies. They're going to get a Debo. Pickens still caught that ball. It's incomplete. Debo's called for the pass interference.
Pass interference. Defense number 21. Spot foul. Automatic first down.
13th penalty of the day.
Yeah, and I'm convinced in the NFL nowadays that if you throw the ball short, or in this case, back shoulder, versus press match coverage, you're going to get defensive pass interference 100% of the time. I've had many conversations with our rules analysts, and Dean and Pereira. I don't love rewarding an underthrown ball. That time I think Dak threw it there on purpose. It was a back shoulder throw by design, but just, I don't know what the defender's supposed to do.
They get 23 yards on that penalty. Now Javonte Williams stopped by Carter at the line of scrimmage. I mean, what would be the rule, though? Because there's so much gray area.
Yeah, it's just so hard. And that one's a little more difficult because it's a true back shoulder. That ball was thrown on a line at the back shoulder of Pickens. But my issue is more on like the real deep balls, like the real arcing downfield, 30-plus yard downfield vertical throws where it's underthrown by 10 yards and we see the receiver come back to the ball and the defender runs into him.
What's he supposed to do?
Because I always say if that ball was 10 yards overthrown, it'd be a nothing play. So that's my TED Talk on defensive pass interference. And I'm an offensive guy. I've argued for many in my day.
2nd and 10. Prescott looking left. Ferguson hit right away. Tyler Nubin drops Ferguson for a loss of 1. It'll be 3rd down and 11 when the 4th quarter begins. This is a tighter game than I think just about everybody figured. These were 2 0-1 teams, but opposite ends of the spectrum of what the tone was around them. To the 4th we go in Dallas. Had since the game against the Rams when the Rams were in St. Louis more than a decade ago. 4th quarter begins with a 3rd and 11 for Dak and the Cowboys. And a flag on Dallas.
Ball start. Offense number 60. 5-yard penalty. Still 3rd down.
So left tackle Guyton. Kevontae Turpin got hit really hard on the last kickoff return. He's leaving the field with an injury. CeeDee Lamb's been quiet today. He's only had 3 catches. George Pickens just 1 catch. Credit to this New York defense, making life tough on the Cowboys. Penalty makes it tougher.
3-jet, that's the pass protection. So that's Dak. Uses the dummy count. Now he sets 3-jet. That's telling the linemen which way they're working in protection.
Against a 4-man rush. Burns coming from behind. He stays alive. He takes off and ultimately goes down. Okereke gets him. A gain of just 4. Once again, that pass rush getting there, and Brian Burns forced him off his spot. 4th down.
Yeah, and don't disregard Tyler Guyton, the left tackle. He's who jumped on the play before, so you have that in the back of your head. Are you just slightly slower getting into your pass set because of that previous false start? And a guy we've talked a lot about today, Brian Burns, doing what he does best. Get on edges, use his length and speed, and get after quarterbacks.
Aubrey stays perfect for the year. 4 for 4.
I was on the wrong side of one of those.
Yeah, right, against Denver.
We opened up against Denver after they beat us in the Super Bowl. And they beat us again.
There's a flag here. I say that like it's surprising. It's not.
Illegal formation. Number 14 of the kicking team left early. 5-yard penalty, 1st down.
Marquise Bell called for that penalty, and so they're going to start at the 40-yard line as we check in with Pam.
Yeah, Joe, you noted that Kavontae Turpin left the sideline. The dynamic player has a neck injury. Turpin's return is questionable.
All right, Pam. Giants go back on offense, down 4. It's been a totally different looking group this week after they had just two field goals last week. They've got 16 today. Yeah, they've run into a wall in the red zone, but they're right here with a chance to win this game on the road. And Russell Wilson, the headliner of the turnaround. 21 out of 28, over 300 yards passing. Quieting some of the noise, some of the calls for Jackson Dart, at least for the moment. It's a draw play to start the drive, and Scattaboo into a crowded area for 2. Donovan Wilson up from his safety spot makes the tackle.
Yeah, and you just mentioned the efficiency from Russell Wilson today, the completion percentage. But how about this? On passes 20 yards downfield, Joe, something we mentioned at the start of the broadcast, he's been a very good downfield passer throughout his career. Today, 5 of 6, 184 and a touchdown. This is the best day throwing the ball downfield Russell Wilson has had since 2019 when he was in Seattle.
Man. And Neighbors has been quiet. Does not have a catch in this second half after a big first step. 1-on-1 to the top. Headed in that direction. There he is. Malik Neighbors spinning his way for a few more. 14 yards for Neighbors.
Just good rhythm and timing. This just simple too-high zone coverage. And, you know, when you play as much zone as they have, really through now 2 weeks of the NFL season, Matt Eberflus, the defensive coordinator now in Dallas, former head coach in Chicago. Even though you can mix up how many safeties, too high, single high, when you know it's man, it's a zone at such a high clip, you don't ever worry about these nearest defenders latching on to you.
Into Dallas territory, Wilson has all day to throw, wants it all. Contact on Slayton and a flag. They're going to get Wilson.
And Wilson had no choice. He was beat.
Pass interference, defense number 6. Spot foul, automatic 1st down.
Slayton had his first catch of the year earlier in this half. It was a long one, and a big gain right here on the pass interference.
Yeah, it's one of those penalties where you're cutting your losses. Little double move. Oh, now Jackson Dart. Let's stop everything. Now Jackson Dart is in the game at quarterback for New York.
What do you think of the timing of this?
I'm not sure. I mean, Russell's fine. He's got his helmet on, talking to Jameis Winston on the near sideline.
This feels forced. I don't know. From the 25, 1st and 10.
Got to imagine some sort of QB designed run.
Hands it off to Scattaboo. Big hole. Scattaboo. Scattaboo. Inside the 1. It's 1st and goal.
Yeah.
24 yards for Cam Scattaboo with the attention on Dart. He just hands it off to the other rookie.
Yeah, so it's just, they're going to pull, and it's just read. It's just zone read off the counter action of the backs. And Russell Wilson ran that play earlier in the game. He pulled it and kept it himself. They ran it to the left. This time they bring in Jackson Dart. They run the exact same play. except this time it's a give read to Scadaboo. First and goal.
Can they finish it off? Wilson's back in. Scadaboo still at running back. He's got it straight ahead for the New York touchdown, and his first in the NFL. Giants back in front. Cam Scadaboo back in the building where he started in the Big 12 championship less than a year ago. Having his breakout game, his second one in the league. And again, this drive began at the 40-yard line. The combination of the penalty and the new touchback rule, placing the ball at the 40-yard line. And so the Giants go 60 yards in a heartbeat.
Yeah, I want to give some love here because the offensive line in New York, they come under fire quite a bit. But the interior there, the center, John Michael Schmitz, right guard, Van Roten and John Runyon, the surge on the inside on that touchdown was impressive.
The extra point from Gano is there. Giants finally finish off the long run for Cam Scadaboo. Jalen Tolbert juggles, recovers to the 25, and another flag. Another flag.
All right, so take a look here. This was earlier in the first half. We used to call this ride peel, where instead of pulling any linemen, you just use the two tight ends and the halfback. Now this was Russell Wilson pulling it. He slides for 3 yards. Now they bring in Jackson Dart, and they run the exact same play, just the other way, and this time it hits in the A-gap because a little different threat now at quarterback. That's a great wrinkle, great adjustment. You have to wonder what that conversation between Dart and Brian Daboll was during that possession.
So he's kind of miming the ride of the read and then
so good. Our camera guys are just so good.
Penalty was on Dallas, moves it back to the 15. So after the Giants started drive at the 40, Dallas way back at the 15. Cowboys down 3. Javonte Williams, left side, lowers the shoulder and gets 3. Paulson Adebo and Bobby Okereke combine in the tackle. Who saw this coming? The Giants, who have lost 8 consecutive games to the Cowboys, have not won here in almost a decade, have not led against the Cowboys in the fourth quarter in 5 years. And Brian Daboll trying to avoid that 0-2 start with all the noise swirling over Jackson Dart, over Brian Daboll's job security. Brian Schottenheimer on the other side, looking for his first win as a head coach. 2nd and 7. Dak to throw. Scans, dumps, Williams. Hit from behind, Dexter Lawrence. Never fun to have a 340-pounder rumbling downhill after you. It'll be 3rd and 4 or 5.
And I think right now, if I'm Brian Schottenheimer and I'm Dak, and Dave's been up and down, and at times the offense has been really good, and at times we've struggled. I think I'm finding CeeDee Lamb, 3rd and 4. Where is he in the formation? And he's my first read. Make the Giants take CeeDee Lamb away before you move on in your progression.
Well, they have today just 3 catches. Prescott looking his way, lofts it to him, and he climbs the ladder and makes the catch. Lamb for 16. You called it, partner.
Well, they tried. They doubled him. Bobby Okereke, number 58, he's going to drop off the center, and they're trying to vice him, and he just runs away from Deonte Banks. And again, it's players over plays, Joe. At this critical moment, fourth quarter, you're trailing at home, trying to avoid an 0-2 start. You don't have to be cute. He's our best offensive player throwing the ball. I'm sorry, I was excited.
Yeah, I get it. I get it, man.
Sorry.
37, 1st and 10. Toss. Sanders made the first man miss. Yeah, did well to get back to the line of scrimmage. All kinds of penetration right there. First off, it was Abdul Carter, and then Banks will get credit for the tackle. 9:50 left in a 3-point game. This Giants defense, look, we talk all about how good the pass rush is, how good they are up front. Well, if you don't ever have the lead, that's not that big of a deal. Teams are just going to lean on you and run the ball all day. Part of what has allowed the Giants to have the game they've had with these stars on defense, they were in front for a lot of the game, and at least in the game, which more often than not, they haven't been the last couple years. 2nd and long. Time to throw. To the sideline. Lamb again. Inside the 40 with a flag down around midfield and a flag in the backfield. They're going to get roughing the passer. What's the other call? The gain is of 24. 2 flags, I believe, separate flags here.
Prior to the pass, illegal contact. Defense number 2. That penalty declined. Personal foul, roughing the passer. Defense number 95, 15-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
And they just cannot get out of their own way. The 14th New York penalty.
Yeah, you're not allowed to land with your body weight. He's got to try to just take himself. And again, we say this because it's the letter of the rule. I have no idea how you actually stop your body from landing on a guy you're tackling. But nonetheless, that's the rule. And then here's again, just CeeDee Lamb working in that inside, that slot position where he's just so comfortable. And right now, with a critical junction in the game, they're going to their best guy over and over.
Lamb was quiet first quarter and a half here, the second half. Back-to-back big catches, though, from the 24, back to the ground, Williams. Javonte Williams loses yards. Drew Phillips, the tackle. Mike Pereira, our rules expert, what did you think of that call?
You know, really, and Greg, I think you're right. It's hard on the defender. What they're asking to do is turn to the side so you don't land on top of him with all or most of your body weight. And to me, he does a good job of getting to the side here. I think he had illegal contact in the play also, but I really didn't like this as roughing the passer.
I agree. I mean, that's a great shot right there. Dak, Robert, they're literally chest to chest on their sides. I'm with Mike.
2nd and 12, empty set for Prescott. Over the middle, CeeDee Lamb again. Throw is behind him, but he still pulled it in, getting inside a Debo for 7. Actually, probably about 7 yards there. 3rd and 5. 8 minutes left. This is the time of the game last week where they kept going to Lamb and he couldn't pull it in. Shut out in the first quarter, shut out in the 3rd quarter. But in the 2nd and the 4th doing his thing. On 3rd down against blitz. There's George Pickens, the other part of this 1-2 punch. 1st down Dallas.
Yeah, great example. When you're playing a guy like George Pickens, you're so worried about the vertical ball. And you can see Paulson Adebo, he starts to turn his back to the inside, and then the slant plays off that, the inside breaks across your leverage. That was too high safety man. Every defender should be on the inside. It's just easier said than done.
Drive has started back at the 15-yard line. Now 1st and goal. Miles Sanders inside the 10. Sanders inside the 5. Fumbled in the red zone last week. Both hands over the ball right there as he burrows for 6.
Yeah, so now a few times today we've talked about Brian Daboll and his approach down near the goal line, and obviously it's compounded if you're the Giants because following any points, field goal or touchdown, you're kicking off to Devontae Turpin on the other side. But now if you're Brian Schottenheimer, you're down by 3, 2nd and goal inside the 5. I think I'm treating this as 1st down, and I'm saying, okay, I've got 2nd, 3rd, and 4th down to come away with 7 and try to jumpstart my unit.
6:20 to go. 2nd and goal. Sanders again with a seam and a touchdown. Untouched in for the lead.
Now another great use of motion. Very similar concept to the earlier touchdown by Williams. This time they're going to motion, pull the backside guard, and again, just another form of single back power offense. It's the first run every team in the league puts in back in the spring, and tell you what, each offense now, it's been sloppy, it's been a bit of a mess at times with penalties, but they're trading their best shot back and forth right now down the stretch.
We got 50 points together with this extra point coming right here. Man, aided by a few penalties,
yeah, just a couple.
To be fair.
Just a couple.
And he's gotten off of the mat. That ugly week 1 performance, quite a bounce back. 322 yards. Yeah, he'll head out there with a chance to retake the lead. Tight game in Dallas. Return for Tyrone Tracy, tripped up. Reaches the 35-yard line. More good field position.
Sounds good.
I'm in. I mean, let's just keep it rolling. From this to the Super Bowl rematch to die.
I'm interested.
Well, last year, the Giants losing a franchise record 14 games. 8 of those came by 1 score. They were the worst 1-score team in the NFL. Play action to begin this drive. Over the middle, it's Scadaboo catching it about 4 times and staying on his feet for 9 yards. I mean, he's fun to watch.
He's like a Tasmanian devil.
Yeah.
Tell you what, though, you know, it's just amazing how quickly energy and physicality. Oh, Jackson Dart now back in. Let's see now what new wrinkle. Is it a play they've run already, or is this a play they've held for this moment here on 2nd and short?
First round pick out of Ole Miss. Handed it off on his first play in the league. See what he does here. 2nd and 1. Another handoff. Tracy. First down. Check in with Carissa.
Thank you so much, Joe. Not sure if you guys have heard. It's a Super Bowl rematch, a Week 2 gift. Jalen Hurts, last year's Super Bowl MVP, on the road today in a tough environment, looking to take his team to 2-0. But this guy standing in his way. Patrick Mahomes. It's all coming up next. It's America's Game of the Week.
Heck of a day of football here on Fox. Giants, Cowboys, better than a lot of people anticipated. 27-23, under 5 left. Wilson's back in with a fresh set of downs near midfield. Fakes the toss, steps up, zips one for a first down to Theo Johnson. 14 yards for Johnson, who had the 2 drops last week. Russell told us he thought that there was a big game coming from a motivated youngster.
Yeah, it's the same play that Dallas ran earlier. Sanborn, he's the read. So it's soft toss pitch, and then it just turns into a little trap pass, we used to call it. And a lot of people now around college, they call it Gronk pass. Rob Gronkowski, our Fox colleague, he's going to go to the Super Bowl, and he caught a lot of passes with Tom Brady running that exact concept.
4th catch of the day for Johnson. Outside quickly. There's Slayton. Darius Slayton working against Elam. Again, the secondary for the Cowboys is depleted. You don't have Deron Bland. And Russell Wilson and the Giants racking up these passing yards, now over 350 for the day.
I'm offended that they don't call it Olsen pass, but
right?
I'm not, because what Tom and Gronk did, 2 of our Fox buddies, man, I'll tell you what the 2 of them did for a long time in the NFL, pretty incredible. So I'm half jealous, but if I was naming the play, I probably would call it Gronk pass too.
2nd and short, Dart's back in. This time he keeps and stumbles. Yeah, and Murray will finish him off. Boy, it's surprising to see this is when they choose to give him his debut. You figured it would come in a blowout game or a fresh start further down the schedule, but in a tight game, they've thrown him in as a wrinkle.
Yeah, for one play, it's unpredictable. Now, again, it's now 3 plays, and every single one has been some sort of designed QB run read. So you start entering into the predictability aspect of using him, and that's the last thing you want to do.
Lost 3, 3rd and 4. Cowboys showing blitz. They back off. Wilson finds Neighbors, who can't hang on. It was behind him. Neighbors got his hands on it, couldn't squeeze it, and it's 4th down.
Yeah, not as accurate as Russell Wilson wants to be. I'm not sure if he's expecting Neighbors to kind of settle out of that break.
Got to catch it, though.
And I think as talented as he is and as special as he is, you just got to catch it. It's got to be a better ball, and you got to catch it. And here we go.
4th and 4. Wilson going end zone. Robinson, perfect throw, touchdown New York. On 4th down, 32 yards to Wan'Dale Robinson. The Giants jump back in front with 2:44 left.
I mean, how many times today against these zone coverages of the Cowboys have we seen Giants receivers just run untouched, unguarded, and this looks like Russell Wilson, Super Bowl Russell Wilson in Seattle. That deep ball dropping out of the sky, and We're an extra point away from a 3-point game and a thriller.
It's there. The eye test looks like old Russell Wilson. The line score looks like old Russell Wilson. Above that today with 142. Giants back in front, 2:44 as the Cowboys get it. Jalen Tolbert with Turpin out with an injury to the 29.
Yeah, so I feel like we continue to say the same things. This is a different coverage. It's cover 3. He's the third, he's the third, he's the third. He will carry the seam route. But again, Diggs just plays too low. He's got to carry that inside receiver, and he just doesn't. And we saw it earlier in the game on the Malik Neighbors touchdown. Granted, it was a different coverage, but the idea of these coverages is you stay deeper than the deepest and you play everything top down, and you just can't let guys run untouched by you.
So now the ball's in Dak Prescott's court. 2.5 left. Underneath he goes for CeeDee Lamb. Lamb for 6 on the first play of the drive. It's not been quite as clean for Dak Prescott today. He's been intercepted, but right here with a chance to win this game.
And these are the 4 guys that they want rushing the passer. Dexter Lawrence, Brian Burns, Abdul Carter, and Thibodeau.
In rhythm again, but knocked down at the line of scrimmage, and there you go. Those big guys up front making an impact. That was Burns, who's been all over today, getting his hand on it.
You made such a good point earlier in this half when you said, you have all these pass rushers, you bring in Holland, Adebo in the secondary. All that is great, but it only matters if you play the game with a lead. If you're going to play from behind, but all of a sudden now your offense finds some life and you can unleash this pass rush, and now your ability to defend in the coverage has a lot more impact on the game.
3rd down and 4. Prescott retreating, finds a crosser. Tolbert has it broken up by Drew Phillips. 2:06, all 3 timeouts. 4th down and a short 4. You got to go here?
Yeah, I think you go for it and you say, even if I fail, I've got 3 timeouts depending on how long this play takes, whether or not you're on top or underneath the 2-minute warning. And you say, okay, then our defense in a short field has to at least make them kick a field goal, and we're only down 6. So yeah, this is a no-brainer. They've got to go for it here.
Giants just struck with a touchdown on 4th down and 4. What do the Cowboys have in store? Prescott steps up over the middle, diving try from Tolbert. Flags are down. It's a catch for Tolbert, and there's a flag in the secondary.
That was an incredible catch.
His first one today.
Wow.
Pass interference. Defense number 8. Penalty decline. Resulting play. First down.
Jalen Tolbert coming up with the play. A gain of 12 to extend the drive. Was going to extend anyways thanks to a New York penalty had he not caught it. Wilson, Pam Oliver, 30-27, New York in front. 2 minutes left. Cowboys have all 3 timeouts. Prescott facing blitz. It's picked up. To the sideline he goes, and it's incomplete off of the hands of Jake Ferguson.
Remember, this is where Aubrey, the kicker, and his range, and we've talked about it multiple times today. It feels like you don't have to be in plus territory, and you're technically in his range. And I think if you're Dallas, you want to be aggressive here. Don't just get in field goal range and try to tie this in regulation. Run this clock down and try to win it. Stay aggressive.
2nd and 10. Time to throw. Scans the field and checks it down. Javonte Williams. He got 5, and you talk about them being close to his range. They right now are where he's hit from before. It'd be a 65-yarder from here. And yeah, Brandon Aubrey's made that far of a field goal. Minute and a half with a 3rd and 5. On the slant, George Pickens getting inside Cordell Flott. Pickens for 14 yards.
It's now the 2nd time where Flott's got to stay inside leverage. It's 2 high safeties. Every other defender's playing inside, and that's now the 2nd slant they've given up to Pickens.
From the 34 to the sideline, Lamb. Perfect timing. 12 more yards. First down, Dallas to the 22.
Now this is simple, just pitch and catch. Paulson Adebo He's gotten a really good start to his time here in New York the first 2 weeks. It's just simple off coverage. And when you play that soft, pre-snap, Dak's going to take a look out there at CeeDee Lamb, and there was zero chance that ball was going anywhere else.
Lamb, trying to atone for last week's late drops, has gone over 100 yards. A minute 7 to go. All 3 timeouts. Dallas just fine when it comes to the clock. And so they run it. Javonte Williams has room to the outside. He hurdles inside the 10 where it's 1st and goal.
Okay, now if you're New York, you got to start considering your timeouts. Yeah, so New York took their first one. Brian Daboll's losing his mind. He thought there was a holding call on the interior. Take a look right here. Tyler Smith, the newly minted man.
Yeah.
I feel like it happens on every play, but if you're a Giants fan, it's a hold. If you're a Cowboys fan, you're saying, Olsen, shut up. But I get it. But Daboll was giving the official an earful. So smart use of his timeout there. Now the issue becomes you can only stop it 2 more times, just under a minute. It's 1st and goal.
Javonte Williams. In this run game for the Cowboys, they had 6 total touchdowns on the ground last year. They already have 4 this year. Williams has 1 today. Sanders has 1. 1st and goal inside of a minute in a 3-point game. Williams straight ahead to the 6.
That's the same play they scored the long touchdown on.
Timeout by the Giants again. Kayvon Thibodeau, the tackle right there.
Timeout. New York.
Giants, 1 of them left. 1 at Dallas.
All right, so now, conventional wisdom says keep it on the ground, keep the clock moving again, and make the Giants use their last and final timeout. You got to call whatever your best play is that will result in the touchdown.
It's a pass. End zone. Pickens. Touchdown, Dallas.
Yep.
George Pickens gives the Cowboys the lead.
Really smart play call. What's the last couple routes he's run? A slant. So now all of a sudden you get that defender a little bit more conscious of the in-breaking route. Great shot right down the line. Line judge was all over it, and that's the evolution during a game. You set up the slant, then it goes fade, and that was a simple fade stop and big-time drive.
Pickens' first touchdown as a Cowboy gives him the lead with 52 seconds left. Back and forth. What a game this has been.
Yeah, what a game. What a play call by Shoddy. You see the Giants have 1 final timeout. You go, all right, keep the clock running, but you don't want to settle for a field goal. In those times, you see teams so often, they're so worried about bleeding the clock that they make their life more difficult. Simple motion. He sees the one-on-one on the outside, and they teach him throw the ball to the front pylon, and the receiver will meet the ball there.
Well, you're talking about good play call by Brian Schottenheimer. He's had to make big play calls before. He's never had to manage the other part of it that you're talking about, how to handle the game. In just his 2nd game as a head coach, looking for his 1st win. And in a place like this, you start 0-2 your head coaching tenure, the noise is going to be loud.
No doubt.
Either side trying to avoid what will send off alarms.
Look at this.
31 in the 4th quarter.
Look at this 4th quarter, man.
52 seconds. Giants ready to get it back. Tyrone Tracy on the move. Giants have had good field position all day. They will again as Tracy takes it to the 37. They need a touchdown. 1 timeout as Russell Wilson goes back out there having the best day he's had in years.
Yeah, so they need a good drive starter here. You need a chunk. That's the key to 2-minute offense. You throw it anywhere on the field. They're going to try to hold on to that timeout as long as they can. But this is touchdown or bust now, down 4.
Wilson 168 last week against Washington, 385 today. Drive starts with Wilson going long, wants Malik Neighbors. Incomplete. Great coverage by Kaiir Elam. Welcome those of you that join us after watching San Francisco beat New Orleans in a tight game. This has been back and forth. 31 combined points in the fourth quarter. 34-30 with 41 seconds left.
Yeah, just such, you see the difference though between how Elam defended that? He was always on the high side of Malik Neighbors. It feels like every other vertical chance the Giants have taken, it's been the Giants offensive player deeper. So much better job there by Elam at corner. You don't need to go for it all, though, on every down. You can run crossers. You can attack the middle of the field.
They bring a blitz. Wilson in trouble. Steps up, has room to run. Russell Wilson into Dallas territory. Oh, it looked like he was going to get sacked, but he squeezed out and got 15.
Yeah, and a good use of the timeout. Anytime there's a chunk play where the offense...
And final timeout, New York.
Yeah, so anytime, so they're going to bring... Yeah, so look, so they got a 5-man front with a 6th on the outside edge, and they end up dropping and coming really well done in pass protection. And just look how much space there is, and Daboll decides to use the timeout because the decision there is when the offense is so scattered, you know, the offensive line's back at the original line of scrimmage, the receivers are down the field. It's a good use of the timeout there.
It's their last, so 33 seconds. Field goal does you no good. Russell Wilson in his second start with the Giants. A disastrous week 1 that had him calling for his job already. He is dazzled in week 2. And a guy that's top 10 in NFL history in fourth quarter comebacks. Can he add another? From the Dallas 48. Wilson protected, heaving one, wants Neighbors, Malik Neighbors, touchdown Giants! He dropped it in the bucket from 48. Vintage Russell Wilson. Giants lead with 25 seconds.
And this is a big extra point now by Graham Gano. Dallas still has all 3 timeouts, but how many times have we said they brought Russell Wilson here for his leadership, the intangibles, his attitude, and you know what else? He's one of the best all-time deep ball throwers in NFL history. He had lost that element of his game these last couple years, and especially last week, but you can't throw a deep ball in the bucket better than that one right there by Russell Wilson.
433 yards, his 3rd touchdown of the day, his 2nd to Malik Neighbors, who they drafted 6th overall to make plays like this.
I mean, look at the concentration. He can't even see.
He's blindfolded.
He's blindfolded. His mouthpiece is bouncing around.
No biggie.
It's just, we have seen this time and time again. Malik Neighbors, Wan'Dale Robinson, whoever it is, they're always on the upfield shoulder of these defensive backs, and this deep passing game of the Giants has been incredible today.
All right, so let's look ahead here. Here's a spot where you're missing Kevontae Turpin. You don't have that weapon part of your return game, but if you're Dallas, you only need to get the ball to around midfield to have a shot at Brandon Aubrey tying this game.
Yeah, it feels so fitting. I feel like the opening drive of the game, we talked about how much Brian Daboll was stressed about this unit. Kicking to Turpin, of course, he's now out, as you just said, but you could be on minus side, meaning on your side of the 50, and be in field goal position. So 3 timeouts, Dak Prescott behind center. This game is far from over.
Instead of Turpin deep, it's Miles Sanders and Jalen Tolbert. Tolbert from inside the 5. Jalen Tolbert to the 33. 19 seconds, 3 timeouts. They need to get to the New York 48 to get to where Aubrey's career long is.
And again, that's like career long desperation. With 3 timeouts, you can throw the ball anywhere on the field. So you'd love in a perfect world to be able to trot your field goal unit at least on the plus side of the 50 and make this a little bit more reasonable, although they got arguably the best kicker in the league, and here we go.
Eye-popping stuff for the Giants offense in this game. Now the defense that they've invested in tries to finish it.
Yeah, don't get too soft. Look how deep they are. You don't want to give up a chunk play here on first down.
Prescott pursued, tossed it up, and it was almost picked by Lawrence. Kayvon Thibodeau came flying after him. They haven't blown this dead yet, and George Pickens has taken it to midfield. They're letting it play on, saying fumble.
That's why they teach defensive players. You pick up every loose ball. You never know. Don't let that thing bounce around.
I figure this is going to be...
The fumble cannot be advanced by the offense. The ball be placed where the quarterback lost it.
Yeah. Now we'll take a look.
Was it a fumble or is this an incomplete pass?
Replay assist. It's an incomplete pass.
There you go.
Which is important.
Second down and 10.
And they'll have to reset the clock.
Yeah, which is important because obviously if you're Dallas, you don't want to use your timeout. I thought Dak could have gotten rid of this ball. The Giants' defense was so deep and soft.
14 seconds, 1-4.
All right, so they've got to reset to 14 seconds. Thibodeau has joined the party. Dexter Lawrence, Brian Burns, Abdul Carter all making plays today. Runs it down to 14 seconds. About 20 yards away from having a shot for Aubrey. Very soft defense from the Giants. Prescott underneath. He's got him. Ferguson at midfield. 9 seconds. Now 8. They'll call a timeout. You'd love to get a few more yards here.
Yep. And again, that was just from standing up here looking at the defense.
Dallas.
Remember, you're not trying to defend to keep Dallas from getting to the 35-yard line like in the old days where you say, I'll make it a 50-plus field goal. Midfield is field goal range. Look how deep they are. Dak throws this ball well before Ferguson's head even gets around, and you've got 9 seconds left to pick up as much as they can.
Welcome those of you that just watched the Lions beat the Bears. What a thriller this has been. 9 seconds left in a 3-point game.
Look how much dead space there is. I'm going to move up here now and press.
They run a draw and get 4. That confident in the leg of Brandon Aubrey.
Wow. I thought he had more yards there.
So did I.
You know, it's so hard for a back, though.
They're going to just send him out there right here.
And if you're the back, right, you have 9 seconds. You're doing the math in your head. You have no idea how long 9 seconds is with the ball in your hand. So he gets through the line, picks up a few, and seems like a pretty fitting ending to this game, doesn't it?
Wow. It's been bomb after bomb, and Cowboys are hoping there's one more. This is the best long-distance kicker perhaps in NFL history. Trying to hit from 64 yards to send this game into overtime. Former pro soccer player, now NFL weapon. Aubrey, does he have enough? On the way, it is! Good! That's why they trusted him. Wow. Never a doubt. On to overtime.
Wow. Tell you what, we've called some great games together, buddy, over the years. I'm not quite sure we've ever called a game like this. The offensive explosion in the fourth quarter, 64-yard field goals as time expires, 5,000 penalties.
Russell Wilson going in a time machine.
Looks like it's 2013 again. This is as good as NFL football gets here in Dallas, Texas. Let's go. I'll be here all day. This is incredible.
New this year in the NFL, both teams get a chance in overtime, even if the first drive is a touchdown. Jerry says, yeah.
Knew it all along. It's giving an extra bonus to there to scout found Brandon Aubrey playing soccer.
Oh, my goodness.
All right, gentlemen, great job so far. We're going to play one 10-minute quarter. Both teams will have an opportunity to possess the ball, even if we score a touchdown. All right? All replays are upstairs, fourth quarter.
I mean, 41 points. And they needed every second.
They're playing for 65 years, these teams. That's the most they've ever combined for in a quarter. Miles Sanders on the return for the Cowboys to the 33-yard line. There's an important injury report that we're going to get in a moment. First, there's another flag here. There's a flag on Dallas on this return. We'll go on to Pam in a moment.
Receiving team number 40. 10-yard penalty, first down.
Pam, what'd you learn?
That the Cowboys have a new center in this game. Starter Cooper Beebe, he has an ankle injury. His return is questionable. He's sitting on the bench. Doesn't look like he's going anywhere anytime soon.
All right, Pam, so Brock Hoffman, who has not played a snap of offense this year, comes in and takes over center. Dak Prescott today, 34 of 47, over 300 yards. Penalty pushes this drive back to the 19 to begin with a rollout and a quick throw to CeeDee Lamb. They get 8.
Yeah, so let's go back. We heard Russell Wilson, the Giants won the toss, elected to go on defense. And you mentioned the new overtime scoring rules. What you don't want to do is, what you do want to do is you want to know whether or not you're in 4-down territory on offense the entire drive. Am I in field goal mode? Am I in touchdown mode? So the obvious choice is you make Dallas get the ball first.
Javonte Williams on 2nd and short has a first down. Stopped by Banks. You get your full playbook. Yep. Take your time.
You know, now you want to dive really deep into it. Theoretically, if Dallas were to go down here and score a touchdown, if you're Brian Daboll and you're able to answer with a touchdown of your own, do you go for 2 to just end the game? We've got a long way to go, but that's all the conversations they're laying out before the situation starts.
Fake the toss, look downfield, and ultimately check it down to Williams, who's got room. And Javonte Williams has 12 yards, running hard to the 43.
Remember our conversation about Gronk pass? That was it again.
Was it?
That time they defended it. He didn't like the window, so he checks it down. In the NFL, if you throw it to the guy you fake it to, right? So they're trying to get, here's Gronk pass, fake the swing. He doesn't like the window. It's like 100%. If you throw to the guy you fake to, he's almost always open as a check down.
What's that one called? Is that like the Marshall Faulk pass?
Sure.
Yeah.
We can take liberty there.
Back to Williams on the ground, dancing in the backfield. Okereke tackled him. He got a short gain. Bobby Okereke leading the NFL in tackles through the first 2 weeks. When he's been healthy throughout his career, he's been that guy. In his 3rd year in New York, coming up with a stop right there to make it 2nd and 9. And neither one of these teams feels like they can afford to lose this game. History would tell you they can't. The last NFC East team to start 0-2 and go to the playoffs, the Giants Super Bowl team, the 2007 season. Last time the Cowboys started 0-2 and made the playoffs, 93. A fumbled snap. Prescott dives on top of it and got it.
Well, I mentioned new center. I don't care how much ball you've played. Overtime. Cooper Beebe's in the entire game. Let's take a look. Hands split. They talk bottom hand pressure on the quarterback. Can keep those 2 palms together. When they split that, things happen. And great effort there by Dak, making sure he falls on it.
Disaster averted in the game. Yeah, it's been ugly with the penalties. 24 of those combined. Just 1 turnover, though. It was on Dallas.
Remember, they can be short of the first down here and be in field goal range. We just have to keep reminding ourselves this is a little different.
Lamb and Pickens both down here, same side. They go the other way. It's Jalen Tolbert, and it's knocked out. Drew Phillips, the defense. How about that? You've got Pickens and Lamb, and he doesn't even look in their direction.
Yeah, and I'm not quite sure if Phillips got a hand on it or if it was just dropped. Let's see, does it get through?
It did.
It does. Jalen Tolbert, it's not an easy catch. It's not a gimme. But if you do, it's a first down.
4th drop for Dallas.
Yeah, if you're Giants, you're just saying, don't jump off sides. Don't line up in the neutral zone. Watch double count.
Now any score would win the game for the Giants. Olszewski back at the 5. Return of 8 after a booming punt from Brian Anger. Russell Wilson got to be having the time of his life today, proving people wrong. 27 out of 36 for 433 yards and 3 touchdowns. And this is just the appetizer. The Super Bowl rematch, Eagles and Chiefs will follow. He's having the kind of game that they had dreamt that he would have. Coming here, give him some optimism after the 3-14 season. But then after last week, it looked like there's no chance they'd get this version of Russell Wilson at any point.
I would test them deep again. At no point does it look like Dallas has fixed the issues of letting guys run through their coverage.
Neighbors has been that guy, top of the screen. They go outside to him, and he's got it for 14 yards, working against Kaiir Elam in this depleted Dallas secondary.
Well, you want to know what the vertical passing game does?
Gets a cushion?
Yeah, you think this is a cushion here on 1st and 10? Watch Elam. He's in his zone turn before Malik Neighbors is even 5 yards downfield, and that's what the threat of downfield passing does. It opens everything else up underneath, intermediate, and run game.
Especially when that downfield threat would end the game. Neighbors again underneath, dives ahead for 7. 9 catches for Neighbors, 170 yards.
They were sending Jackson Dart. Now he got out about the numbers, and they called him back off.
Wow, it was surprising to see him the little bit that we did. Change up, he went in there for 3 plays. They were all run plays. Changed their mind there. It's a new career high for Russell Wilson, 454 yards passing. 2nd and short. Oh, the ball is out. That's a live ball. It is out of bounds. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I think it's going to be an incomplete pass. First off, what a great effort by Scadaboo to chase that down, to bat it out of bounds. I would love to know whether, let's see, let's take a look here. It's an incomplete pass, isn't it?
But it was backwards.
Oh, did it go backwards?
Pretty sure it did, yeah.
Oh, yeah, so it goes backwards. Great call. Wow, so when he tried to palm it, he held on to it too long and actually threw it across his body. Great call there, Joe. Makes that effort by Scadaboo even more impressive.
Next score wins this game. 3rd and 17. Only a 4-man rush. Wilson with time. Deep ball. Robinson can't get there. Dallas's defense comes up with a stand.
Yeah, I don't think Robinson thought the ball was thrown. He stopped running and then realized late that the ball was coming his way. Take a look here. We used to call that a bomb 7. See how he stops? Once you do that, you got no choice. And Russ is saying, man, just keep running.
We've connected on a bunch of those today. Wandale saying I couldn't see it.
Yeah, the problem is if you look back at the quarterback, you're not going to see him throw it. You never see those balls. You have to look up. You don't look back.
Here's the punt. Tolbert comes on. Fair catch at the 38. Well, you don't figure that you're going to get a couple shots at this if you have to punt it on your first drive in overtime, but Dak Prescott and the Cowboys will, and as we saw at the end of regulation, they don't need a whole lot to put this into Aubrey's range.
You hear Dak, he's in the huddle. He said, this is the opportunity to put this one away. Now you can play for 3. Your options are unlimited. True sudden death.
Play action. Got drilled and sacked. That is Elijah Garcia, who's played 11 games over the course of 4 years in the NFL. He's saying, I want to get involved too with all you superstars up front.
Yeah, and they kept in they only sent 2 guys out on the route. It was beyond max protection. At some point, if there's no one downfield, Dak's got to throw that ball away. You just can't take a sack when you're on the fringe of field goal range on 1st down.
That's the 11th tackle for loss for the Giants in this game. Makes a 2nd down and about 20. Prescott getting some of it back to Pickens. Adebo couldn't hang on. There's a flag down as Pickens gets close to a 1st down. The flag is around the marker.
Offensive pass interference.
Wow.
Wow.
Pass interference. Offense, number 3. 10-yard penalty.
Wow.
Deep 2nd down.
Wipes away the 17-yard gain.
You just don't see offensive pass interference called in that context very often on a one-on-one route. It's usually a pick or something like that. Let's take a look here. Off coverage. Paulson to Debo. I don't know. That feels tight.
Well, if anybody's going to get flagged for getting his arms extended, it's a guy with arms that are a mile long.
Wow.
Pereira tells us he's not making that call.
And now look, it's 2nd and 29, and now Dax, in his mind, is just thinking, in 2 plays, can I get at least where a field goal is a conversation, but then you're pretty much getting a first down.
Yeah, they need the 48 on their own side for a first down. Need the other 48 to get into his range. Hand it off. Curious call right there, but Javonte Williams makes something out of it. That thing was going nowhere, and Williams got 20 yards.
That's just a tired defense. You got a chance to make it 3rd and a mile, and they just can't get him on the ground. The physical running, just tired legs. They've been out there the entire 4th quarter in what's been an absolute shootout. And 3rd and 10 looks a lot different.
Giants pass rush has put its imprint all over this game. Down to 2 to snap it, and Dallas is going to use a timeout.
First yard timeout, Dallas.
Out of this 3rd down and 10 play, and hands on thighs across the board. Everybody even gasping for air. And a 37-37 game doesn't just go to overtime, but this overtime is going to go the distance. 64-yarder from Aubrey, tying his career high, has sent this game into overtime after back-to-back big plays, really back-to-back big plays in that amazing 4th quarter.
And this is going to be the 78th play that this Giants defense has had to defend, and they need it to be their best.
The game had seen about 1,000 yards of offense. 3rd down and 10. Dak outside. Jalen Tolbert. Drew Phillips hangs on for dear life. 4th and 5. This is too far, even for Aubrey.
That's an unbelievable tackle, and Drew Phillips, he's had an up and down day. Gave up a touchdown, gave up a couple completions, had a pick, but that might be his best play of the day.
He doesn't make that tackle. There's another 15, 20 yards there at least.
It's for sure a first down, and the ball is well into Giants territory and clearly in Aubrey's field goal range. So of all the good he's done today, that might be his best.
How about after that 4th quarter we have, both teams are going to get 2 possessions in overtime? Now one of these teams finishing it off?
There's been nothing. You got to imagine they're going to take a timeout here. They don't have 11 men. This is a mess here on the Cowboys punt team.
Delay game. Offense number 5. 5-yard penalty. Still 4th down.
Super Bowl rematch is underway. Scoreless game early on in Kansas City. As soon as this one finishes, we will get you there. Now, how about your NFL Sunday, folks?
Wow.
We could get an old classic rivalry, but probably not going to be that good a game, right? Giants look terrible week 1. Cowboys going to roll them. No. This has been an absolute thriller. Anger to punt it. Olszewski takes a look at the coverage. Here he comes. Olszewski to the sideline. To the 33. It's a good return. Solid field position. Russell Wilson, a career day.
Russell Wilson, since he's left Seattle.
And if I'm a Cowboys fan, I can't help but think, could Micah Parsons have stopped 1 or 2 of those big plays?
There's no question. That's probably on the mind of everybody in this stadium.
Dump off. Singletary. Hit in the backfield and dropped. Kenneth Murray with a tackle for loss. 2:40 to go. 2 timeouts. Field goal would win the game for New York. Everybody gasped. There will be a 2-minute warning in overtime in addition to those 2 timeouts for Brian Daboll to work with. Second and 14. Wilson. Deep ball. Oh boy, threw it up for grabs and it's intercepted. Donovan Wilson. Oh my goodness. Ill-advised from Russell Wilson, 1-on-2. And Donovan Wilson just had to play center field on a routine fly ball.
Yeah, here on the edge by Sam Williams, he just takes Bo right back into his lap, and this is one of those like Malik's down there somewhere. The problem was Malik Neighbors is running a corner, an out route, and Russ throws this ball inside by the numbers, and Malik Neighbors does his best job trying to turn into a DB and go hands to hands and punch it out, but that's about as easy a pick as Donovan Wilson's going to get in his career. And Brian Daboll, of all the good they've done offensively, especially down the stretch, bad time for your first turnover of the year.
Cowboys hoping the third time's the charm. Their third possession of this 10-minute overtime. 2 minutes, one timeout. From their own 30. Needed about 25 yards to get into Aubrey's range. Prescott looking long. Lofts it up for Pickens, who's got it. They're in field goal range as George Pickens gets 27 yards.
Tell you what a difference George Pickens makes for this Cowboys offense. We're so used to CeeDee Lamb being the go-to guy. Paulson Adebo now is matched up man coverage against Pickens, and Dak has just enough time to hang on there under pressure, and George Pickens has made some of the game's biggest plays for this Cowboys offense.
From here, it'd be a 60-yarder.
Oh, it's like an extra point.
Yeah, in his sleep. Make it a little closer with Williams. Kayvon Thibodeau's made a couple plays in this overtime. It's a short gain. A minute 10 with the one timeout. Philadelphia and Kansas City underway in the Super Bowl rematch. Appetizer has turned into a main course on its own.
Yeah, you just think how far field goal kicking has come. We saw them settle for a 64-yard field goal in regulation, and now they don't seem to have much urgency other than picking up a couple yards here to trot Aubrey out to try to win it.
Prescott a look to throw. He's in trouble. Can't take a sack, and he won't. He'll run right down the middle inside the 30. 17 for Prescott. It becomes a chip shot for Aubrey.
Well, there you go. It was just going to be a simple inside slant. He's wide open, outside leverage man to CeeDee Lamb. He doesn't like it. And all the defenders' backs are turned. They're just trying to pick up a couple yards. Simple inside looky route and get down and trot the field goal unit. And I promise Brian Schottenheimer feels a lot better about this being the field goal for his first ever career win as a head coach than he did a play before.
Brandon Aubrey, we mentioned he was a soccer player. He played at Notre Dame, played some pro soccer, retired from that, got a real job as a software engineer. He's sitting on the couch like the rest of us watching a game one Sunday, saw somebody miss a kick, and his wife said, "You could miss it like that." And it sparked something in his head. He said, maybe I'll give this thing a shot. Oh. He goes out there, starts kicking.
Hats off to his wife.
Right?
Really astute observation there from Mrs. Aubrey.
64 to get it here. And now much closer trying to win it.
New York, 30-second timeout.
Right after his wife said, you should give this a try, he said, all right, I went to a local field right after that and started kicking balls away. Hit a 60-yarder that first day out at the field by himself with nobody watching. So then he got more formal about it. He hired a kicking coach. Long range to tie it and get it into overtime. 46 to try and win this thriller. Aubrey got it into overtime and now wins it. What a ball game. Cowboys in OT. Third time's the charm for the Cowboys in OT. They get 3 drives and cap off the last one to end this game and get the win. The first one for Brian Schottenheimer, no doubt one he'll never forget.